the motherfucking.
Bigg Lou, what's up? What's up?
What's happening?
What's
Tapping
up,
in, baby boy. Tapping in from the mighty west side.
There you go. There you go.
Because you and I know it's the best side. Nah. What's
Let's
cracking?
say hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you for coming in.
Yes, sir.
Lou, what's going on, man? How you doing today?
Just running late like always. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to get everything prioritized and get to where I got to get, so I could have been at a cool spot when we did this, but unfortunately the traffic and you know what I mean, I got out about maybe 40 minutes later than when I should have got off work, and then the traffic getting back, you know what I mean, and then by the time I got the shower and all that, forget about it, you know what I mean. So it is what it is, man.
I don't know if you want to do a little roll call before we get this started.
Okay. All right, so we got our man out in Texas, Mr. Yankees for life. Good evening, my brother. We got Tess. Hello, Tess. Edward. We got
my man Sven.
Miss Can't Be Wrong's in the building. She always likes to tease, man. All good in Hollywood. We got this is, I believe, Joey Dimes, right? NB for unemployed Vinny, Joe Mo. I think that's Joey Dimes. Hello, Primo. Que se dich, papa. Okay, we got Mickey Griggs, another stand-up gentleman who's always showed nothing but the utmost respect for me since the beginning. Frankie Rizzo and baby girl Wendy. If you guys haven't already, thanks for joining us, first of all. And if you guys haven't already, hit that like button. Definitely. And sub if you haven't, but I'm pretty sure everybody here has. And like I already said, like button and share it. That's the most important thing, to share it. Share with your folks.
There you go.
Okay.
Anyway, so matter at hand.
Been dudes. 10 on that Pinkville. Sorry about that. It just tapped in.
I thought you were done, bro. I was like, oh, what? He finished already? Damn.
Yeah, we'll pick up. Tom Sheehy. Good night, Mike.
Damn.
Yeah. So that's the roll call.
And of course, we gotta give our brother that's up in the chat, Carlos, a shout out.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Like always,
Mr. Don Carlos Moniz.
Don Carlos.
And everybody, when we say Don, that means like Mr. Sir. It's a form of respect. Italianos know already what that means. Yeah. But anybody else that don't know what that means, it's not it's not so much like trying to say I'm the boss. You know, it's more in the respecting. I mean, they go hand in hand, but people used to say Don Carlo, Don Vito Genovese, but it's just a form of respect, So that's what's up with that.
That's what's up.
You know what I mean? Brooklyn Rob in the house. It's Finn Larson. I don't know. I don't see Finn Larson. I can't pronounce the name right, man. Sorry about that. I don't mean no disrespect. And then we also have Robert Pimentel from the 805, California brother. Saludos.
Yeah, so everybody that came in, man, we appreciate you guys coming in.
Here we go. We got Carol's in the house. Yeah, there she goes. Hello, Carol. Sly Stallone, San Diego, 619er. You know what I mean? We got there he is. Sven Larson, our favorite Danish in the box of sweetbreads. Yeah. So Dragon Reborn, 1982. Good evening. So the other day when we had Gunner on Sunday, I kind of opened up a little bit about some of the experiences. I didn't really actually touch on the experiences, but I mentioned what part of those experiences and what you have to encounter, what you encounter when you deal with some of these things, and I'm gonna touch a little bit on that, on some of the dirty crap that you got to do in order to
hit the bases, bro. So that way people understand that behind the monitor, the cell phone, whatever, you got actual people that have actually been through same shit as everybody else. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
You have experience. So I want to let you go ahead and let us know what's up. How you your upbringing, whatever you want to talk about, my brother. You can definitely do it.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm seeing names here, but I don't see them in the chat. I see medic. Carlos is saying hello to the U.S. Army medic, combat medic. Excuse me. I don't see his chat. I don't see nothing from him, but he must be here. So because I see a couple hellos. So hello, and also yes, thanks for your service. as well as Primo and anybody else that's here that fought for the United States of America and Canada and England and Ireland and Denmark. If you were in the military, Sven, I don't know anybody that fought for their fought for their country, or with not so much fought, but that served. You know what I mean? And
La patria.
because when it all said and done, we're all together anyways. We're all the
That's
alliance.
right.
If if England goes, then we go too.
Yeah.
So yeah, right now, if Ukraine was part of NATO, we would be there already fighting.
Yeah.
But they're not. So that's what's holding it up. But hopefully it don't get ugly enough like that where we have to do that. You know what I mean? I'm hoping. But
Yeah.
so yeah, so even though this is California, and California is a beast of its own when it comes to the racism and the politics in prison. Okay, California is on a scale. It's like no other in the United States.
Different
But
scale.
but a lot of the things that we do in California are done everywhere else. Anywhere else that there's crime involved in that facility, and you guys know what I mean by that. Drugs. Drugs. If there's an organization you're part of, it's going to be handled. I might have to move because the sun's starting to. Well, we'll see. Anyways, uh, if you're with the business, just put it this way: if you're with the business and you're in the mix, that's the best way to put it. Then you will be doing some of the things that I'm going to be talking about tonight. And no matter how nasty it might sound, that's what you got to do to get away and to be under the radar and to slip through the cracks. And what I mean by that is get away with things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a very ugly ass place, man. It's just nasty. It's a nasty, disgusting place. You just keep in mind, you got to deal with, just because you're from the same area as somebody, Southern California or Northern California, doesn't mean you're going to get along with this guy fully and you're going to like him.
Yeah. Yeah.
For example, look at the Cosa Nostra. You got guys from the same families and they can't stand each other and they'll politic against each other, try to get them out of there. It's happened a dozen, hundreds of times, not dozens, hundreds of times, just in the New York City, the families alone, amongst everywhere. Every family's had a problem where this couple didn't like that couple and he was pushing against them because the boss was getting old and probably was going to be passing soon, and they want that position. So they'll hate on each other by all means necessary, right? So it's the same thing. It's the same shit. Oh, it's an organization. Shit goes downhill, money goes uphill. Remember that. You know what I'm saying? So if you're making good money, you're always going to be in great standings. It is what it is. If I'm pushing $20,000 a month to you, but me and Nelson got a beef and he's only making you 10 G's a month. Well, most likely, probably 8, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to win all the arguments. So money's money. It's all about money. That's what it's all about. And I'll get into a little bit why I'm saying that, putting an emphasis on that, because there's been most people would say, wow, really? I'll get into it later. Maybe I might get into it because then it's touching on on organizations. I really don't want to touch on that.
Yeah, we're gonna keep it on you and your experiences and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. So anybody, if you guys got questions, if you guys end up throwing questions at me or something, just keep it pretty much a general question about me. General question, nothing about organizations or anything like that. The OC over here in prison. And because the way it runs over here, the power is in the inside. You know what I mean? Yeah, just put it that way. The power is in the inside, behind the walls. What we could say behind the walls. If you're on the street, you got power still, but it's not, it's not going to be like, you had it in there if you're one of those guys. I don't really want to touch too much on that. Just put it this way. If you're a capo regime in there, right, inside, you're a captain, and there's only 10 captains. Okay, once you get out, you no longer are considered a captain. Now you're just a category member, right? And I'm gonna keep it simple. There's 3 categories. There's category 1, category 2, category 3. That's what they're called. Cat 1s, cat 2s, cat 3s. Okay. If you're a cat 3, then that means you're pretty much a captain or higher. Okay. The only thing higher than a captain is a general. Okay. There's 3 generals, 10 captains, and there's 2 reserves. 2 reserve, pretty much captains. They're RSDs, reserve security directors, and those guys will slide into one of the those guys will slide into one of the either the general spot or captain role, and everything is done by a vote. of those 15 guys, the majority vote of those 15 guys. You know what I mean? On major moves. You know what I'm saying? But when I'm speaking like that, I'm just speaking of the members of that organization. Now, let's get something clear. I'm not here saying I was a member of that organization. Period. You know, I know a lot about it because I've been around, and I know a lot of members, past and present members. And what I mean by that, they're no longer in good standings, or they passed away, or something like that. But yeah. So I won't be touching too much about that. Let's put it this way: there's three components, pretty much like three components to. So you got the two Latin organizations from from California, right? One, you guys pretty much, I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about. So most of the people out here, when I say Latino, majority of the people are Mexican, right? Okay, so that's part of it right there. That's part of the name, right? Okay, so they're now predominantly Southern California, but back in the day, they had members from Northern California, just like the other organization had members from Southern California, and the founding fathers of what they would call the Northern California mob is the founding members were from Southern California. They started around 1965, right? Some say they started in Quentin, others say they started in Soledad. So I that's up for debate. And they first guy from Northern California that was a member is said to be in around 1969. A guy from San Jose area. Okay. Originally, that name of that group was NFM, Nuestra Familia Mexicana. So our Mexican family. Okay. There's an individual by the name of Robert Pablo Sosa. Okay. It said that he was a Vietnam vet. Now I haven't been able to confirm that yet. Some people say he was, some people say he wasn't. And I haven't been able to confirm that. And I was hoping to confirm it before I brought him up in any of these spills. Because there's an old timer that's from his same town he's from, and I was hoping that he would get back to me because I'm messaging him through the YouTube, and he hadn't got back to me yet. So I was hoping to get a little more insight on that since it's from the same city. This guy, actually I haven't even said it yet. So like I said, the name of the organization was NFM, Nuestra Familia Mexicana, our Mexican family. Okay, this individual is Boricua, Puerto Rican, right? I mean, big old afro. Matter of fact, I think I got let me see. Let me see if I can show you guys what he looked like. I don't know if I have it here. You guys might be able to see. I got a picture of him right here. Okay, so anyways, he dropped the Mexicana off the name because, like I just said, he's Puerto Rican. Okay, there was a couple more members. One from New York. This man was from New York, came to California for some reason, went to prison, and then got involved. Okay, you can't see him too well. This is him right here. This is him right here with the glasses on, and he's got a big afro. You can't tell, but okay. So back in the day over here in Cali, it was all about the big mustache. You know, the big handlebar mustache.
We had him in New York too. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're right. And then the big afro, and they used to literally be tripping and blow drying their hair. And this is in the pen, you know what I mean? And they would blow dry their hair and all that back in the day. And and that was the thing. If you had the combination of the fro and the brocha, we call it brocha over here, which means brush, right? Yeah. You were the man. You know what I'm saying? Okay, here's another picture of him. He's with his wife right here. You can see the afro right here.
I got you. Yeah.
Yeah. See, so. And then he had a couple brothers that were involved as well. Julio Bugsy Sosa, and then his brother Michael Mano Sosa. Now Gunner, that was on the other day, knows Michael personally. He's passed away now, but he knew him personally. He was a younger brother, in good shape, big old arms. You know what I mean? And so he changed that name. So you had Pablo Sosa, you had Manzanas right now, I just said, which means apple. You guys don't know, it means apple. So you guys know New York's the big apple, so they would call him Manzanas. Okay. You guys are aware of that movie American Me. At the end of the movie, when the guy is stabbed up and thrown off the tier, his name was in the movie was Santana in the movie. His real name was Cheyenne Cheyenne in real life. Cheyenne, Rudy. Cheyenne was his nickname. His real name was Rudy Cadena. And they stab him up and throw him over the tier. And then when he hit the ground, somebody stuck him about another 70, 80 times once he hit the ground. Now that was the third tier, three floors. Okay, so I never been. That was at Chino Prison, 1972 in December. December of 1972. This happened. I never been there, but I've been to Soledad, I've been to Tracy, and I've been to Vacaville. And that prison, they're all designed the same. All four of those, just the same way as San Quentin and Folsom are pretty much the same. Okay, and then now all the new prisons, the level 4 180 designs and the level 3 270 designs, the buildings are identical.
Mm.
So Manzanas, Luis Colon, his name was. He was one of the guys, and it was Tiny. Tiny's the one that stabbed him once he hit the ground. He kept stabbing him. Tiny, Manzanas, it was Crackers from Fresno. It was Joker from Redondo Beach, which is LA County. And I might be missing one more. Yeah, Tiny, Crackers. I think I'm missing one more. I just can't think right now. Oh, Black Jess, I think it was. I think it was Black Jess. Um, so yeah, and then you had another guy, Julio Lugo, and he got killed by the Mexican mob in Soledad sometime in the 70s. I think it was 72. Part of the revenge on this killing. And so what happened was when they killed him, they were meeting to have a what we call over here a junta, which is a meeting
Mm.
for peace. They were trying to become um, trying to peace treaty because they already had made a peace treaty the year before, and this individual got out of prison, and then he came back on I think he caught either a violation or he caught a new bid, and he came back to the joint, and so he was trying to basically get back to, to reaffirm it and put it back in place. And what happened was when he goes to meet these guys, um, I can't remember right offhand if it was the same day, a day or two before, but these two cats got killed, uh, and they weren't honoring the peace treaty. So what happened was the Manzanas and all them already knew what they were going to do to the guy, when he got there. So they did it, they handled their business, and um, they killed him. So then later, Julio Lugo, which another Boricua, was killed in Soledad, and they have a name for that day, and I think it was called Lugo's Day or Lugo's House or something like that. But there's been a lot, and then those are the ones from back in the day that I can think of offhand right now. And
Yeah.
then you're talking that's four members right there. And then I can think of a couple more that are half Puerto Ricans, and then I know of many more from the 80s and the 90s that are Puerto Rican and Puerto Rican Mexican or Puerto Rican Filipino, Puerto Rican white, Puerto Rican black. You know what I mean? Um, People get the misconception that California is just straight Mexican. That's it, and it's not. It's not
Right.
like that. So the Bay Area, Oakland, Hayward, San Francisco, Decoto, is a really small place, and there's a lot of Puerto Ricans there. And how they got there was from migrating from Hawaii, from working. They went from Puerto Rico to Hawaii to work in the sugarcane fields and things like that. And then instead of going back to Puerto Rico on that long boat ride, they stood in Hawaii, made it their home, started raising their families there. Everything's pretty much the same. The climate, the conditions, everything, So
Yeah.
eventually, years later, 20, 30 years later, they started migrating to the Bay Area, Berkeley, Oakland area, San Francisco. And so that's how we all got there. And then eventually, all, just like most people, like when immigrants get to a place, they all, gravitate to their own folks. You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? So all back in the day, so my grandma and all her brothers and sisters, majority of them all married their same kind, and not till later did all the mixing start, So that's how we got there. You know what I mean? So and then now you got a lot of probably I would say probably since the 90s, maybe mid 90s, you got a lot of Central Americans. So Guatemalans, which are Guatemaltecos, and they call them Chapins. You got from El Salvador, Salvadoreños, which are called Guanacos or Bichos, and then you got uh, Hondurans, which are Hondureños, and they call them Catrachos. Right? I've only met one guy from Costa Rica around this area, and then I met a lot of Nicaraguans, Nicaragüense, a lot of Nicaraguans in San Francisco, Nicoyas, they'll call them, or Nicas. And then Panamanians, I met a few, not too many. Panameños, Panamanians, and I don't know what their nickname is. I've only met in my area. I've only met one Colombian in prison. I met one Venezuelan. I only met one Dominican my whole life. Only one. Um, one family of Bolivians. A few families of Argentinians. I met a couple of maybe a lot more Cubans because the area got back in '81 when he Castro let all the people out of prison. A lot of them came here, to the
Yeah,
Stockton area. So eventually, after my family moved around and stuff, I met quite a few of them, and of course, they came straight here and got involved in the in the product business,
yeah,
and
yeah.
and a lot of them were crazy, nuts. Like they'll whip a gun out on you, they'll shoot you, they'll stab
Oh,
you. They were
yeah.
they were with the business like that. You know what I mean?
Find people like that all over the place. Doesn't matter the
Yeah.
nationality, none of
No,
that shit.
I'm saying that because there was no Cubans here, and then all of a sudden here they come,
Popped up,
and then
yeah,
you get introduced to a different nationality, and you start learning about them. You know what I mean? That's what I meant by that. But yeah, of course,
yeah,
that's the thing people don't think too. They think because I'm from Chicago, and a lot of shit goes on
yeah,
there that that same stuff don't go somewhere else. Go on.
yeah.
It just doesn't happen as
Got
a
it.
as a big at the rate. And is what it is. But so that's a little bit about that. Um, I don't know. I guess I come from
Well, we're
I got a
getting
couple.
into like Miss Campy Rome had a question. We're gonna answer that after, but let's hear something a little bit about your youth coming up and what led you into where you were at.
So I was born in right off the coast, right off of the Gulf Coast in New Orleans, and I grew up on a gator farm. And
Mm.
my
That's when you were
granddaddy,
like 2 foot 5, right?
yeah, no, I started when I was about one and a half
Well,
feet.
I got
You know,
you're wrestling
my
alligators and
my granddaddy, we were when we came through Canada back in the day, French Canadian, we started right into the gator
that.
business. And
Hell
no, I
yeah.
like that show Swamp People, but anyway, so yeah, so my youth, so I got two brothers. I got two brothers way older than me. I got one. My oldest brother's 50. He's gonna be 59 this year. My next brother's gonna be 55 in June, and then me, and I'll be 44. So big gap. So and then I got a little sister. So us three boys are all from the same mother and father. And then my mother and father split up when my mother was pregnant with me. Split up. My dad gave her the house. He took off and went back to the Bay Area, and like I said, he gave my mom the house. So I remember my middle brother being there up until I was 4 or 5 years old, and then by that time he was already 17, 16, 17, 18. My oldest brother, I don't remember him living with us ever. You know what I mean? And then my mom, uh, and then I had a little sister that came along when I was 9, and then she was born in April, and then my birthday was a few months away, so I turned 10. So between my brother and my sister, there's 25-year gap
Mm.
between my oldest sibling and my youngest sibling, and and then that was my mom's first daughter, excuse me. So I was raised my little sister. We had a big gap, but I took her with me everywhere when I was a kid. We used to go a lot to the Boys and Girls Club. It was pretty close to my house, and I was just all into playing basketball. All I did was play sports. That was it. I didn't basketball. I played organized. Baseball, I played organized up until a certain age, and then football, I never played organized. I went out for the football team one time, and they told me because my birthday, I had to drop down a certain amount of weight, and it was like 25 pounds. I was like, oh, the hell with it. You know what I mean? Baseball, I ended up quitting because um, it kept because of my birthday, and this don't even make sense to me though because it just doesn't make sense because of my birthday was before August or some. I don't remember how exactly they named it, but so I started when I was 9, right? And they put me on a 9-10 team, and then the next season I come back and I'm 10 now, and they put me on a 11-12. And I was ready to get off that year. Like that was my year. Like I
Yeah.
was gonna get drafted high. I already went to the tryouts. They were like, ugly. They was all over me. I'll play first base. You know what I mean? Outfielder, but I wanted to play first base. Always been the position I wanted to play. So because my fielding skills was good, because my dad used to. Me and my dad, like earlier we were talking. Carlos said he's playing with his son. Uh, my dad always, man. I mean, he taught me as a little kid how to get in front of that grounder. Put your body in front of that grounder. That way, that ball goes up. your body's there to block it,
Yeah,
so it
yeah,
falls back in front of you. Put that glove, get in front of it. You know what I mean, and all that type of stuff. And the fielding when I out in the outfield, and my dad was on it, man. He taught me a lot. And, my dad didn't grow up playing sports. He played some football, but not really like, this is just, I always look at my dad like he was the type of cat that, as he got older, he would read a lot and he would learn a lot by reading, and and then later on, he would learn how to fix things, plumbing and all that type of stuff, by just by being there and doing that. Basically, because it's not like now where you can Google everything and find out
yeah, yeah,
how to
yeah.
do this, how to do that. So yeah, so he just started teaching me at a young age, how to play ball, and I was, what I mean, I loved it. I loved baseball, and then so I played a few years like that. But the thing that sucked was I was always a little bit younger than the rest of the team, so I didn't get to really play much. And
Right.
basically they were just putting me like what the league rules was. You got to play two in inning in the third or something like that, and I forgot how it went. At least get one at bat. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I
yeah,
really, I had, like I said, I had great fielding skills. So they would put me. Sometimes I play center. Sometimes I put me in left. Depending where they thought they needed me. Like if somebody missed a game or something like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I didn't really get to shine until finally one year I got to play where I was able to do my thing. You know what I mean? But then by that time I was more in love with basketball. And so I really had to play my ass off at basketball since I'm only 5'3". You know what I
yeah, yeah.
mean? I mean, I
I
really
feel
had to play my ass off. So
them alligator sneakers. Yeah, I can imagine.
yeah, yeah, I had alligator everything, alligator
Yeah.
boxers, alligator socks. You know what I mean?
Oh
I had an
man.
alligator shirt. With the collar with the three buttons with the alligator though, not with the pony, not with the guy. It was fake though. It was from that Walmart brand, whatever.
So
But anyways,
you were still
uh,
living. I mean, you were with mom and pops, right?
no,
Or
so
you
pops
just mom?
just mom. So it was
Okay.
me and mom in a 4-bedroom house, 2-car garage, family room, living room. It was a pretty big house. My mom and dad
Yeah.
bought it brand new in the 70s. You know what I mean? My dad and my uncle did some brick work and stuff, flower pots with the brick around the front of it. And they did some of that. And they continued to do that type of work for many years after that. My uncle ended up having his own business, landscaping business, but then later on he just concentrated on landscape only.
Yeah, yeah,
And so my dad would, that's what I was saying earlier about my dad would learn, from being there, doing it right then and there. And then he picked up the skill with my uncle,
yeah,
and
yeah.
he would work with my uncle a lot, and so so that's how he learned a lot of things. But yeah, my dad gave the house to my mom. He went back to back to the Bay, and he had his job going on, and he was in the Teamsters at the time.
How old
Um,
were you at this time?
I wasn't even born. I was in my mom's stomach.
When
My mom and dad split up when she was pregnant with me.
with you? Okay,
Yeah, so I never got to live them. I never got to see my parents together. You know
got
what I
you.
mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So, but I will give this to my dad, man. My dad would have me every weekend. I would be there with him every weekend, and my dad didn't have a car. Well, at first he did, and then after that he would use public transportation, which is the BART system, the Bay
yeah, yeah.
Area. I don't know exactly what the BART stands for. Bay Area Railroad Transportation or something like that. Well, yeah. So um, my mom would take me, or sometimes he would find his way to come pick me up. You know what I mean? And he always took care of me, even with whatever was going on with him. Um, he always made sure that I had what I needed.
You're taken care of. Yeah,
Yeah. A little later, it got a little rougher later because he ended up losing. So what ended up happening was my dad got that job at that job through the Teamsters like in 67, 68, 1967, 1968. And then he had it all the way up until 88, 87, 88 when because I remember they were striking, they went on strike. And then what happened was they was, if I remember correctly, I could be wrong, but I think they resolved whatever the issue was. But what the problem was, they shut down that location, right? This was in West Oakland. And they had that location and one in LA. So what they
yeah,
did was they moved the whole that operation in West Oakland to LA only, and I think they might have given an opportunity or the option to move down there too. I'm not sure about that. Or they might have just lost their job and that's why they were picketing. I don't really remember, to tell you the truth, because I was only like about 10 or 11 at that time. So eventually he lost his job and then he ended up moving back up to where where he had, when my mom and dad split, where we had moved to, which is the Valley area. And he was staying. I think he was at first. Yeah, he was staying with my uncle, and that's when he started really getting into the landscaping and
Yeah, yeah.
and the lawn service and all that. Because my uncle had his own business, and so he was getting whatever jobs he could get here and there. You know what I mean? So by that time now, I wouldn't go to school with new clothes or nothing. I would start the school year with the same whatever I had before,
Yeah.
because what kept happening was he worked at a he was working. It was called seasonal work, right? Where you only work so many months a year, right? Because it was the sugar place, Holly
Sugar
Sugar.
cane. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they would go back to work. So, for example, we started school September 1st, right? But he would go back to work like August 25th, August, somewhere around there. And because you know how it goes when you get a job, your first check's in the hole, right? So if you get paid every week from that job, you don't get paid to your second week, right? Or if it's you get paid every 2 weeks, you got to wait for that third week to get your check. I don't know
Yeah.
if they got that in New York and all that, but that's
There's
how they
some
did it over
places that
here.
do that.
Yeah, so he might have went to work a week before I went back to school, but he has to wait those 2 extra weeks. So then I go to school a week or two, and then he finally would give me a little bit of money. I would go get whatever I can get. You know what I mean? Usually it'd be, I don't really remember for sure, but like $25 pair of shoes, $30 pair of shoes, a couple pair of Dickie pants, and a couple t-shirts, and that was it. I was rocking. You know what I mean? We make it work, man. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And so I try to tell my kids now. I go because my dad took care of them, later on in life. But I explained to them, you guys are lucky, man. You guys get these $200 pairs of shoes, and you know what I mean. So just imagine that. My pops is buying my son and my daughter, $150, $200 pair of shoes, and they're buying nice, expensive clothes. And then their dad just gets out the pen with no money, and I got to catch up to that. It was,
Yeah,
oh boy,
bro.
it was rough, man.
With
I
you,
did my best. There was a couple of Christmases where I took all the kids to the store and bought them Jordans. On my two step kids, which I don't call them step kids. I call them
yeah.
my boys, and they call me pops. You know what I mean? And I took my daughter, my son, my two other boys. So that's four
You,
kids, and then
what
and
age
then
did you go in the
I
first time?
oh
What age did you go in?
so from 1997
Hmm.
until 2017. So
And that
that
was
20-year
in and
stretch,
out,
that
in
20-year
and out.
stretch, yeah, for that 20-year stretch right there, I did over half of it in there in the pen,
In the pen.
incarcerated. You know what I
So
mean? From
with
the
your
pen and the county jail.
so with your first intake, basically, when
So
you
my
got
first
in there
term.
for the first time,
Yeah.
what was your thought process? You know what I'm saying? Being young and going in at that age, especially in California.
So I got some cousins that they're my mom's first cousins, right? They're my mom's first cousins, but we just say cuz, primo cuz. We don't say, well,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah,
this is my first cousin Anthony, and this is my first cousin Jimmy, or my second cousin Jimmy. It's just my cousin, my cuz,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, so they're my mom. So they're my mom's. So out of all my mom's cousins, they're like the youngest ones of the cousins, pretty much, right? There's one other uncle. Actually, there's two other uncles that have kids, and I'll get in. So that's why at first I said one uncle. Okay, so my grandma's two baby brothers are Uncle Ronnie and Uncle Bobby, right? Okay, but Uncle Bobby. So this is my mom's uncle, but she grew up calling him cousin because my great grandmother gave him to her daughter that couldn't have kids,
Yeah.
and she raised him as her son, but it really was her brother, her little brother. So it was my grandma's little brother, but he would call my grandma Auntie, Auntie Margaret, Thea Margaret, Auntie Margaret, and it really was his sister. Okay, so that's why I hesitated when I said one other uncle.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
to be honest, Bobby was the uncle, and his kids. He had Joey, Bobby, and Ron, Joey, Bobby, and Johnny, Joey, Bobby, and Johnny. Yeah, and then Uncle Ronnie had Debbie and little Ronnie. Okay, so besides them, those five cousins, then you got the cousins I'm speaking of now. Okay, so out of all these cousins, there's four brothers and there's one sister. They all been to the joint, right? The sister too, and they all made pretty much careers out of it, except for the one of the brothers that was paralyzed. Right, he was paralyzed. He fell off a. He went to use the restroom when he was in high school, and he fell off the cliff, and he became paralyzed. and he got awarded $3.2 million.
Whew.
And so the way they worked it, this happened in the 70s, but the way they worked it was he only got so much a month, right? Like
Mhm.
$600, $800 a month. Every so many years, he got a decent check, like 80,000, 50,000. One year might one check might be 150,000. So he passed away in 97. So these cousins of mine still were collecting the money later on in their life, right? They got broke off finally. So, anyways, these cousins, the two older brothers, Jimmy and Frankie, I would be schooled by these guys. You know what I mean? They would school me. I mean, heavily. I mean, school me where you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
that I knew already all situations that could come my way. I knew how to handle them, right? And I'm just being totally honest. So that's why I wasn't scared when I went. When I went to prison, I wasn't scared at all. Now, don't get me wrong. When it was time to do something, or I knew that we were gonna kick it off, that's
Yeah,
different than
yeah.
you would get that butterflies, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody, all the homies are on the, like one time we're in the gym. I remember we are gonna kick it off, and all of us are on the toilets. I mean, there's like 10 of us, and we're all sitting there because we're having bubbly guts, and you know what I
Yeah,
mean. And you don't know what to expect. You don't know how it's going to go, because not only do you got to worry about who you're getting into it with, you got to worry about the tower that they don't shoot your ass from up
yeah,
there. You know what I mean? And they don't bring out the lethal they don't bring out the Mini 14 until they see either a weapon, or if they see somebody on the ground like knocked out and they're constantly getting kicked, what we call
yeah,
stomp. And then they'll intervene with the lethal force, because
yeah, yeah.
otherwise they'll just shoot projectiles.
The rubber
There's these little
bullets and
things
all
like
that shit.
this.
Yeah.
They're little balls like this, and they shoot it, and
Mm-hmm.
they shoom, and then they have to go around collecting them afterwards.
Yeah.
So sometimes if they can't find one, they slam everybody till they go run through everybody's cells searching for, you know, uh, the projectile. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
they have the block gun. They call it the block gun, and I've seen that thing do damage on people, man.
Mm-hmm.
So it's wild, man. It's real wild. You gotta it's it's crazy, bro, and it can go from 0 to 60 like that, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, look, I
Um,
mean, look at where you're at. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, but
You're gonna
and then
jump
another
off.
thing is this, man, like the lower level, like a level 2 yard. A lot of people, you'll hear them talk crap like, oh, it's soft, it's a softer yard, meaning that it's not, the people ain't as hard and stuff like that. But if it kicks off, the difference between a level 2 yard and a level 3 yard is there's no towers, there's nobody shooting at you from up there. You know what I mean?
Mm.
The worst you're going to get it is, the cops will throw the other yards, because most facilities have multiple yards at that institution, right? For example, uh, you know any prisons over here in California? Can you name? Not
Not in California.
okay. So okay. So we'll say Corcoran Prison, right? Corcoran State Prison. They have A yard, B yard, C yard, right? D yard. I think they have D yard there. Okay, so all those yards, A yard is its own yard, right? B yard is its own yard. The guys on those yards don't see each other. You know what I mean? They're separate facilities. Okay, so what usually happens if something kicks off, those yards will be slammed. They'll say, yard recall. They'll try to get everybody in their cells as quick as they can, and then the response teams from those yards will show up on the yard, whatever the incident's happening. And usually, what they do is, so for example, if it happens at a level 2 yard, what they're gonna do is they're gonna go in there, they're gonna suit all up, but the worst weapon they're gonna bring is gonna be that we call it Big Bertha, and it's like it's kind of like Ghostbusters, where they put that
Mhm.
backpack on, and it's got his like hose gun type deal, and it's just pepper spray, real high powered shit that burns the crap out of you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I think they call it because they had changed it to some stuff that was more powerful in the last 10 years or so. I can't think of what it's called. So that's about the worst you're gonna get, right? On a level 2 yard. But now, like I said, level 3 yards, you'll have that, and you'll have the guards, not the guards, but the COs on the main tower on the yard above the gym. You'll have that one, and then every building on the yard, where the housing units are, they'll get up on top of the roof. One of the officers will go up there, and they'll get in place, and they'll have the usually they'll grab the block gun, and they'll grab the
yeah.
Mini 14. You know what I mean? So you have to worry about that. And then all over the yards and the walls, it'll say no warning shots. You know what I mean? So it can get, and then you know of stories of people getting shot and killed in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I've heard of guys getting hit in their head, with their head blown off. I heard of guys getting shot in their private. You know what I mean? Guys getting shot in their foot. Guys getting shot in their ass, cheek. You know, all kinds of shit, man. I don't want to get shot anywhere. Especially when it, especially if it's some trigger happy ass motherfucker up there. It's
Yeah.
not
So
cool.
when you go into that lifestyle, man, because that's what it is, a lifestyle, going in there and dealing with other people, it's weird because, like you said, you see all this stuff with the guards up on the what is it, the tiers and stuff, shooting off and doing all kind of stuff. With you seeing that, how did you feel? I mean, it's something that's gonna blow your mind because you're gonna be like, "What the hell?" But like you said, you have family that already put you
Yeah.
onto it like
So
that.
yeah. So basically, what they schooled me on was my conduct. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Was
Yep.
my conduct, how to present myself, and how to conduct myself. And what they always say is we conduct ourselves in a professional manner, and that goes for like everything, bro. Your beard, if they don't really, the homies don't really want you having a beard. It's not encouraged, but if you are gonna have one, have it trimmed up. Don't just
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
don't look like Grizzly Adams and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Long hair, long hair. They want it like neat, where it's like tied up. If you have long hair, they want it like, because that's a weapon. It's a what's the word I'm looking for? Like, in other words, you have your hair long, bro. Somebody grab it, come up behind you,
Yeah. They
grab
can
it,
wrap
and
it.
just
Yeah.
and
And
just
pull
and
it
just
in. Yeah.
yeah, and they got control of you. So
Yep.
they want you to put it in like a bun, like kind of, and that saves you a little bit because there's not as much they can grab.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I remember one time seeing these guys that were getting off they were fighting on the tier. We're in a 270 design building, which is a level 3. Sometimes they'll use it as a level 4, but it's not it's not like they're level 4 inmates, but they're not as they're more like a low level 4. And they'll put them sometimes on a level 3 design, which is
Yeah.
called a 270 yard. And basically, like I kind of mentioned, I think before here, what that means is 270 is that cop in the tower, he can see from a 270 angle. He's
Yeah.
able to see. And then the 180s are the level 4s, where they have the walls. Um, when you go in, they got walls in between the sections, and that's a 180, and they're able to see at a 180-degree angle. And I seen these guys getting off on the tier, man, and they're like right in front of my door, like maybe between my door and the door next to me. And the guy hit him, and I don't even know how he hit him, because you got he's shooting from the tower, but you got the rails right there, so that means he hit him between the rail, and it hit him right on his knee, like blew out his kneecap, right? And he hit him with the block gun, though, not the regular gun, but the block gun. And when it hit his knee, his leg went up behind him and smacked him in his back. If you understand, if you can get what I'm saying.
I know what you're
And
saying.
dude
Yeah.
just fell, like, oh, he just fell. I mean, it just blew out his kneecap. You know what I mean? From a block gun. You know what I mean? I seen another guy one time. We were in the gym, man, and they were fighting. It was whites in the southern Latinos, and something happened in Building 4, and I seen them bringing guys out cuffed, because I was a porter, and even though it happened in Building 4, they'll still yell at us on the mic too, get down, right? So we have to get
Yeah.
on the floor. If you're on your bunk or sitting down, you're okay. But if you're standing up, walking around, you got to get on the floor. Some prisons, you got to get on your belly, and they call it prone out, where you got to stretch your
Yeah.
hands and feet out. Other prisons, you can just sit on your butt on the floor, right? And so what happened was they already did get out and all that, and I'm looking out, from my butt, but I'm looking out the window, and I can see that they're bringing out bald heads, because most of the Southerners they cut their hair bald.
Yeah.
And then I seen white dudes, so I already know it's gonna be a domino effect. You know what I mean? What it meaning is, it's gonna go from there, and the yard wasn't open, so nothing was happening yet. But anybody that caught wind that's what happened, then they're gonna kick it off next. So what happened was, once I was able to get up and wiggle, I went around to all my peoples, and I told them, because it was just this is just before chow, just after count, and count hadn't cleared yet. So because I had a porter job as a recycler, I was able to get up and do my job and go, and basically, even though my job was recycle, all I had to do was go around dumping everybody's trash can. So everybody had a bag in the aisle that they use as trash. I would just go around and throw them all. So while I was doing that, I was telling all my peoples, hey, get up, man. get on half 60. Half 60 means basically be on your feet, be on your toes, be ready for something to happen, but just be ready, right? That's a half 60. A full 60 means it's on. We're bringing it, and that's within. That's what those are terms that we use within. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I told all these dudes be ready, man. I shit you not. A few minutes later, I'm watching, man. I mean, like Lefty made a comment yesterday that he said the first time he ever seen me come on camera on a panel on a show, he said that my eyes were darting around, and I was like I do now. Like you see me looking around
Yeah.
always. I'm always paying attention what's going on, right? So he said he's seen that, and he knew, and he said that's how he recognized that I was, a real cat or what, something like that. And so same thing, and this is the reason why I do that, because this reason that I'm telling you the story, they're looking around. These guys from the Mexicans from LA and Southern Cali, they're taking off all their private clothes, so their shorts, their tank tops, anything private, they're taking it all off. They're putting all their state clothes on, right? Which is the blue pants, the pull-up pants. It says CDC prisoner down the leg, and the baby blue pullover shirt says CDC prisoner on the back, or inmate or something like that. They're putting all that stuff on. They're taking everything off their bunks that's private, right? Because what we do is we'll put our laundry bags they give us and we'll hang it, and we'll use that as a drawer, and and we'll put your stuff
Yeah.
neatly in it, and you stack your stuff up. So what they did was they took all their personal stuff that they had around their bunk, put in their locker. So anybody knows it's about to kick off. And sure enough,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
started kicking off. They started getting it, and my people's, like I said, we're on a half 60 now. Watch your surroundings, pay attention. But, it's not our beef, so we don't get in it. But what happened was the dude that slept next to us, the white kid that slept next to us, and he was getting it too, man. He was getting it with this dude, and they were going there, they were slinging him back and forth, and the tower hit him in the head with the block gun and busted his head open. And of course he fell, you know what I mean? And when he came back to the yard about a week later, because he went to medical, they stitched him up. They kept him in medical for a while to watch his, I guess his, from taking a head
Yeah.
injury to make sure he was okay. And then when he came back, he said they split his, he got a fracture in his skull from getting shot with that block gun. You know what I mean? So it's vicious, man. It's vicious. Like I said, that's why I said earlier, that's like one of the things that's in the back of your mind. You don't see it when it's coming, and it just boom hits you.
It's
What are
gonna
you
hit
gonna
you,
do?
man.
You're gonna drop, usually, So,
Man.
you know,
No, that's crazy, bro.
yeah,
Crazy.
So
So that was the first time. What? How long did you do the first time when you were in there, Lou?
when the first time I didn't do long, I only did what was it? A little less than a year,
A little
10
less
months,
than
20 days. Yeah, so 16-month term, they give you 16 months with half, so that would be 8 months, right? But
yeah.
at the time, you had to get either a job, you had to get assigned a job, or be put in school. And then
Yeah.
once you got put in there, then your halftime would kick in. So that's why on a 16-month sentence, the most you can do is 10 months, 20 days. On that's the most they can, disciplinary free. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you got that whole 16 months you can do. If you're messing up, you know what I mean? You got that 16 months they can give you as far as. So basically, put it this way: 8 months with half will go like that to make it easier, and then you have that 8 months of good time, work time, right? That if you're
Yeah.
messing up, not going to work, not going to school, and then getting in behavior, having behavioral issues, then you can end up doing that whole 16 months. You know what I mean? I've seen that a lot of times. But because usually, if you're with the business, then anytime anything happens, you're going to be willing to get involved.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
what they usually do is once you catch a write up and say they take, so mutual combat, for example, right? You get that 115 for mutual combat. They'll take 90 days from you of behavior, not good time, right? But then they'll give you 6 months they'll tell you got 6 months. Um, it's called restoration of credits, right? And they'll tell you you have to be disciplinary free for 6 months. And if you are, then you put this paperwork in through your CC1, which stands for correctional counselor. And you put your paperwork in, and it's called restoration of credits. And then what happens is if you're disciplinary free for the whatever amount of time they told you to be clean, they give back that 90 days. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then sometimes what happens is just before you're gonna go home, something happens, and then you're disciplinary free. One time you could put emergency restoration of credits in. You know what I mean? And that way you can, if they took 90 days from you, you can get back at least, if you don't get the whole 90, you might be able to get, 50 of it back or 60 or whatever. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And then usually how that goes is, so if they give you 90 days, whatever amount of time they give you, and you're doing halftime, then you got to do halftime on that. So if they give you the
Gotcha.
90, they give you this, like I said, the 90 days for the mutual combat, you got to do 45 of it. You know what I mean? If you end up messing up and not getting your time back, if you're doing 85% because of violent crime, then they'll do the math on that. If you're doing 80% because you had a previous strike and they doubled you up because of the strike, then you do 80% on that. You know what I mean? It's a lot of yeah. I gotta break it down. So let me, for example, my last term, right? Okay, they got me originally when I was arrested. They gave me 2 counts of assault with a deadly weapon on a police officer. It's 245C, right? Okay. They end up dropping it to a 245A1. So instead of me having assault with a deadly weapon, the 245C, which was my original case, which is assault with a deadly weapon on a police officer, it was Sergeant Holman, right? My case, they said I tried to hit Sergeant Holman with the car in my escape, right? When I was trying to leave the scene, okay? And then they said that I also tried to hit Officer Cervantes, right? But what happened was, since they're lying motherfuckers, right? Like they are, right? My attorney, and I had a public defender this time, man, but I heard nothing but good stuff about this guy when I got back to jail, right? When I got back to the bus ride, man, somebody's on our bus ride home back to the jailhouse. He says, "Hey, man, I had that guy before, man. That guy's really good," right? So, and I heard that from him. And then somebody else told me, a lady that was in the back, not by us, but she yelled, she heard him because she knew him. And then she put her, she added and said, "Yeah, I had him too. He's pretty good." And he was a young dude too. So you can tell that he was striving, to
Yeah.
eventually get in a firm or maybe start his own firm or whatever. Right. So anyways, uh, what he asked the cops, both cops, right? The Sergeant Holman and Officer Cervantes to draw. Not only did he get their testimonies, he also asked them both to draw, uh, uh, pictures where, placing where I was at when he got to the scene and where they were at and where the store interest was and all that stuff. Well, and their testimonies were totally different and the pictures were different, right? So this is the preliminary hearing, right? This is before trial. So right at the end of it all, my attorney goes, "Your Honor," and before you even start, the DA butts in and says, "We're going to dismiss count 2, right? Which was assault with a deadly weapon on Officer Cervantes," right? So now in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, we're going to use his testimony now and his drawing as on our behalf, because it was Exhibit A and Exhibit B on our behalf against them to rebut this,
Yeah. Yeah.
debunk this bullshit, because what happened was, bro, when I ran out of the store, right? And when I got in the car, I threw everything I had grabbed because I had a bunch of stuff. I threw it in the back of the van, through the window of the truck, and I just threw them in there. And I got in the car and the truck, and I took off. And before I started looking forward, I'm looking in the rearview mirror to see what's going on, if they came out behind me or not.
Yeah.
And then when I finally look forward, all of a sudden a cop car comes in front of me, and I go, "Oh shit!" And I just turned it quick, boom. And then as soon as I turned it that way, another cop car came in front of me, and I turned it back. They're trying to say that I tried to hit him,
Yeah.
right? The first cop said that he was out of the car and he had to like basically dive, but they're saying I'm going so fast, and it's like, how did all that happen when I barely drove off? So that's what helped with the
Yeah. Yeah.
picture, the one they asked him to draw. You know what I mean? And then plus one of them said that, "Oh, well, we don't he goes, "Department policy, we don't box nobody in." But the other cop said the opposite. So then they asked the officer, "Well, didn't you guys have a meeting or a plan put together?" And one said yes, the other one said no. So it was all, we were going to use
So
that,
they
like I
went
said, we're
against
going to
each
use this
other. Yeah.
testimony on our behalf against them. But it never came to that, because what happened was, so my offer was 5 years, 4 months, right? And they were going to give me 4 years on the controlling case, which was the assault, the 245C, assault with a deadly weapon on the cop. And then they were going to give me 8 months twice, right? Because by law, California, you can only be given anything after your your controlling case, you can only
Yeah.
be given a third of the midterm on anything else on top of that. So the other two cases was 8 months, which is a third of 2 years. So they gave me 8 months, 8 months. So that's 16 months. So I add the 16 on the 4 5 years, 4 months, right? So I told my attorney, I said, look, man, I go, I'm not tripping on the time. I go, I don't want, because on top of that, what they want to do is send paperwork to the Department of Motor Vehicles, right? Which those are the people you have to deal with when you get your
Yeah. Yeah.
license, when you get your tags on your car, all that type of stuff, moving permits, everything like that. Getting your driver's license originally, the tests in car and the written tests, and I tell them they wanted to send paperwork to the Department of Motor Vehicles and have my license suspended for life, and that's
Hmm.
what I was tripping like because that's not what happened. I didn't try to hit them, right? So I was willing to. That's why I was willing to fight it, right? And so I tell him this. I tell my attorney this. So he goes, okay, well, let me go talk to the DA. Okay, he comes back in about maybe, I don't know, I want to say an hour, but it might have been a little less, maybe a little more. I don't know. I can't really remember. And he comes back, he says, bro, he goes, I got good news for you. Double good news. I said, okay, what is it? He said, she came down from 5 years, 4 months to 3 years, 4 months, right? Because what they did was instead of me getting, because so in California, when you go to prison, cases, so for example, uh, possession of sales, right? Or
Hmm.
let's do this: Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto of a vehicle is the low term 16 months, the mid terms 2 years, and the high terms 3 years, right? Okay, so when I caught this case, they were offering me the midterm of 4 years. So what she did was she came down to the low term, right? So that was 2 years. So then 2 years plus 8 months, 8 months, 16 months on top, 3 years, 4 months. Okay, so 2 years. She took off 2 years off the deal, the plea bargain, and then he says, and she's not going to turn in no paperwork to the Department of Motor Vehicles. I said, oh, run that in. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it. And then so we did it. Boom. 2 weeks later, I was in San Quentin. You know what I mean? So, the guy ended up being pretty good, and he came and visited me in the jail like he said he was. A lot of times those public defenders, they have so much their caseloads are so big,
Yeah.
they don't,
There's
they
a
don't
lot of them that
prioritize.
ain't that bad, bro. Because I mean, that's a misconception. A lot of people say, "Oh, well, public defenders, nah, this and that, blah blah blah." Nah, they ain't all like that, man. Because I've seen some real good ones, bro. Real good ones. Well,
I,
in the feds.
yeah, I had two of them, that one, and then I had another one before where she was fighting for me. She was pushing motions and all that, but then me, of course, because I'm a criminal and I was, and I'm, you know, complaining that, well, the cops would give me a bad time, which they were, every time they see me, and this was for years, jack me up, not find nothing, not find nothing until they finally found something. But what happened was while I was out on bail in another town, I caught another case. And so she's like,
Mm,
man, she's like, we can't use that defense, that argument now because here you got in trouble again with drugs again. And this is another town with cops that you don't have no history with. You know what I mean? The only thing I messed up, man, was I jumped on that first deal that day, and I probably, not probably, if I would have just laid off for a little while, I probably would have got 2 or 3 years less than what I ended up taking. You know what I mean? But me being
yeah,
young at the time, not really knowing the law, not really knowing what's up, I wanted to get the hell out of the county and get on my way to prison and get that over with. You know what I mean? Because
yeah.
this keep it real. You know, besides, and these are the places that I know that are well documented that everybody hears about. Rikers Island is rough as hell. Cook
Hmm.
County Jail, Chicago, rough as hell. LA County Jail, rough. You know what I mean? Now a lot of these other counties, especially in the agriculture areas like the farming communities, um, they're just they're it just sucks. You know what I mean? You're locked up all day. You know what I mean?
Well,
You're in
back
this
in New
bullshit.
York, they had a place that was called Kaksaki, and that was
I
supposed
heard
to
of
be
that.
Trojan. That was supposed to be Trojan school.
Yeah,
That was
that was where
Trojan school.
that was in the city, or that was what,
That's
upstate?
upstate New York.
Okay, yeah, I've heard of it.
Kaksaki, yeah, it's a Trojan school. You had a lot of young bucks that would go
Right,
in there and they wanted to prove themselves. So you already know.
right. So yeah, so that yeah, so just me not knowing better, man. I jumped on that deal, and I shouldn't have. Not looking back at it, but you know what I mean. It just was, you know what I mean. And then, like, remember I was telling, I mentioned you guys yesterday that we were on lockdown in the reception center. Us, the cats from Northern California and the whites were on lockdown because somebody had got killed and some real bad shit happened. And and that all happened because somebody wasn't paying attention, didn't know their awareness, and they jumped on a black guy that wasn't a black guy. I mean, he was a black guy, color skin wise, but he did not run black. He ran Northern Latino. And so
Oh,
when these white dudes jumped on him, uh, it, now we're involved. And so what happened was guys got, you know,
yeah.
one guy got killed. A lot of people got seriously hurt, and it was on for a while. And when I got there, we were already on lock. The lockdown already had been going like, oh man, it had to be at least 6 or 8 months already. And this is the reception center, so people are always coming and going out the reception center. It's not like you're on a main line somewhere, you know what I mean, where the turnover rate's not that big, because a lot of the guys
Yeah.
are doing life or long stretches, depending on what level you are. If you're a level 4, majority of people are lifers, or they're doing 20, 30 years, 15 years, 10 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This was a reception center where, like I said, every day buses are coming in from the surrounding county jails to be processed, you know what I mean, and received in R&R. I've mentioned this before. R&R stands for receiving and releasing. Anytime anybody comes into the prison or leaves the prison, you're going to go through R&R.
Yeah.
And so every day buses are coming from county jails every day, and buses are leaving in the morning going to main lines, getting shipped out, And so they still kept us on lockdown in the reception center it had to be 6 months, 8 months. So me knowing this, when I left the county jail, I hooked me up a nice little plug of some deodorant, and I took it with me. If you guys know what I mean by I took it with me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't put it in my property. I put it on my personal property.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It is what it is, man. And then
Yeah.
when I got there, and I'm glad I did it, bro, because bro, we would take showers and wouldn't even do nothing. I mean, everybody smelled like onions. You know what I mean? We had no store, bro, nothing. We had no store,
Yeah.
because sometimes you get in trouble, you catch some disciplinary at some facilities, you can still at least go and get hygiene items. You know what I mean? But no, there was none of that,
Yeah.
So, my last week there, they just started letting people off lockdown, but it was they were doing it by phases, and they were doing it by the older guys first. It was in 3 phases. It was older guys and people that got their date after it happened. And then the younger guys, and me at the time, I was still in my we're talking 2006, so what is that, 16 years ago? So I was still in my 20s, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
I was 20, 27, 26 or whatever. 27, yeah, 27 I think it was. So, you know what I mean? So that's how they were doing it, So I only got to see the first phase come off, and it was like 2 days, and then I was on a bus gone, you know what I mean? And then on that term, and then when they sent me, I was supposed to go to Pleasant Valley, which is in Fresno County. That was what my bag said. My bag, because what they do, they come around after count and before chow time, and if you're on the Transpac list, they slide your bag, which will be paper bags. They'll slide them on your door, sometimes 1 or 2, and it'll say your last name, it'll say your CDC number and your last name, and then it'll say, like, if you're going to Pelican Bay, it'll say PBSP, Pelican Bay State Prison, on it, but it'll be the initials.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
sometimes there might be some initials you don't recognize. You got to ask somebody, you know what I mean? And so what happened was I had that. My neighbor across from me, he signed to me because we spell everything.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
spell, A, B, we spell. And I spelled to him Pleasant Valley, and he's like, all bad. He told me. I said, oh, fuck. And the reason what he meant by that, all bad, because they house bulldogs there, Fresno
Mm.
Bulldogs, and that's our the number one enemy is the number one enemy is the police, right? That's supposed to be number one enemy. And then you got some other groups that are considered enemies, you know what I mean? But they're on site. That's what I should have said. Excuse me.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
on site. That means if you're able to get on them, then you get on them, right? So what happened was I didn't end up going there yet. I went to Corcoran. Right? We went to Avenal. Yeah, if I remember right, we went to Corcoran first. That's right. We went to Corcoran, and they called me to get off, and I'm like, what the hell? So I ended up staying there. I was there. I never even came off orientation, and then I catch another bus to the place I was supposed to go, Pleasant Valley, and right there, there was like, man, let's see, the suspect, me, Kyle, Vinny. Frank Nitty. There was about 8 of us. 8 of us got off the bus, and so we went right into a holding tank by ourselves. They didn't even put no brothers, no blacks in there with us. It was just us. So I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell? What's this about, right? So we're thinking that they're gonna put us on the yard, and then we're gonna have our opportunity to go get some, go try to knock some people up. You know what I mean? And what happened was, nah. What they did was they came over there. The first person, I don't remember who it was. As a matter of fact, it was my celly because his last name was with an A. They called him Arenas. His last name Arenas, and they call him over there. And so he goes up to the gate, and they're like, "Here you go. We need you to sign this." So he hands it to him. He reads it, but he reads it to all of us, right? Because all ours is going to say the same thing. So what his said was that he came from. So what it said was that we came from uh, this institution, right, to now their institution, and we don't fit the criteria of their housing criteria, because their mission is to house these guys, Fresno Bulldogs, and we don't mix because our C file says that we are active Northern Hispanics, right? And he
Mm.
wants us to sign it. So my celly, he wasn't my celly yet, but he ended up being my celly. He gave the thing back, and we even yelled. We didn't yell. We just said it to the guy. Oh yeah, we're not signing that. Don't even bring ours back, because he had a
Mm.
stack of them. So he was going to start passing them out. And like I said, my celly, who was going to be my celly, he reads his out loud to all of us, and we're like, nah, we ain't doing that, because you're saying that, because you're never supposed to admit nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So by
yeah.
you signing it, you're agreeing. Oh yeah, that's what I am. Oh yeah, we can't be around those guys, which is
Yep.
a no no. Which is a no no. So we didn't sign it, and they just put refused. And then I don't know, maybe 45 minutes, hour after that, we were taken handcuffed behind our backs because we're going to ADSEG, which is the hole. So we automatically got off the bus, went straight to the hole,
Straight to the hole.
straight to the hole, straight to the hole. Now you tell me that Sacramento CSR, they're the ones that do the transferring, that they couldn't have just sent us somewhere. No one, they could have just sent us to a place we could walk the line. You know what I mean? There wouldn't be no issues.
It's a game, bro. It's a game.
Yeah, that's what I meant by that. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
game.
Let
And
it
you
be
know what
that.
happened too at that place? Because eventually we end up going from the hole. They kicked out like 27 of us to the B yard, right? And what happened was they would shower. So we got the program for like, I don't know, 6 months, 4 months, 8 months, something like that, with no problems, because the Southsiders and the Bulldogs got into an incident. So they kept them on lockdown, and we got to run around, work, go to yard, and all that. Well,
Yeah.
eventually, it happened with us and them. So then we got slammed. So what they did was they would pop out. So when it would be our day to shower, they would say, okay, guys, you guys got 30 minutes to shower, right? And they might pop out maybe 10 houses, right? 10 cells, 2 guys in a cell, that's 20 people, right? And then when it's their turn, there's more of them because they're deep, right? This is their back. This is like one of the only yards they send these guys to. And same thing, they'll tell those guys, okay, you guys got 30 minutes to shower, and they'll go shower. And what they did was, while these guys are running around out there on the tier, they pop one cell of homeboys out, just to set it up,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they would do that shit all the time, man. It's crazy. You know what I mean? It's
Damn.
crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of depending where you're at, level 4 yard, everybody carries a weapon, right? Um, level 3 yard, everybody carries a weapon except for the guys in position of leadership. You know what I mean? As far as like the chain of command guys, COC, chain of command, um, people in position. Put it that way. They don't have to carry pieces. But most of the time they do too. You know what I mean? It's just not mandatory.
Yeah.
So, this piece, when you're carrying this piece, you don't have it in your pocket. You don't have it in your sock. You don't have it in your waistband. You got it, where. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it's in the vault, in your personal vault, right? And you have to learn how to on the yard. You have to learn. You start practicing in your cell, but you start practicing how to drop it. How you're able just to kneel down real quick and get it out of there, when it comes time to use it.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying? And you also get trained. You start training yourself how to get it out clean. You guys know what I'm saying? Because at no time do you pass stuff around. Are you supposed to pass anything around with where it you know what I mean, where feces are on it, even though it's coming out of there. You just learn how to do it, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And there are some guys will try to get away with like hiding it in their cell. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Say they have a bundle of stuff, like what Gunner was saying, where like he'll give something to somebody and say, "Hey, I need you to secure that."
yeah, yeah,
And then they might say, "Oh, well, some like type of excuse or something," and then you'd be like, "Yeah, okay, but I need you to secure that." So basically, that means whatever you're going through don't matter. Secure that thing, right? And so you have guys that'll try to take shortcuts and hide it in their cell or put it in their pocket or something. And you'd be surprised how many times these guys will drop something, like with names on it and all kinds of different things, and drop it, and another homeboy will find it and save that dude's life. You know what I mean? Or
yeah.
they'll they'll find it and turn it into the proper position holder and get that guy in trouble. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Because yeah, you're supposed to always have it secured, bro. Because
Damn.
if you're gonna be if you're gonna be that what's the word I'm looking for, like if you're not gonna be taking it serious, and half stepping when it comes to this, you're gonna put a lot of people in jeopardy, perhaps, if they come across certain gang intelligence, right? It might
Yeah,
be
yeah,
maybe it's because on top of a lot of that stuff has names on it, like I was saying earlier, not only names of people in good standings, like the roster of who's there, as far
yeah,
as manpower for us, and then also they'll have what is called a BNL, bad news list, and that and that thing is humongous. It's massive. All the names on there. You know what I mean?
no
And so
doubt.
if you say somebody's there that needs to get dealt with, and you have in your bundle, and IGI gets a hold of it, which is the gang and institution gang investigator. They're the ones that deal with all the gang stuff, right? And then you got ISU. They're the ones that stands for Institution Security Unit, right? Or institutions, yeah, security unit. I think it is ISU, and they're the ones that, like, if somebody gets hit, like stabbed, they're the ones that come tape it off. They do the for uh like somewhat of the forensic stuff, like you know uh, uh securing the area so that fingerprints can be taken, blood spatter, the pictures,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
weapon. They find the weapon, they take pictures, just like a CSI
The
does, kind of.
CSI, yeah,
Yeah, you know what I mean. They do that type of stuff. And so we don't like to see those guys. When you see those type of guys come in the building, because they have different patches. Usually the IGI will have the same jumpsuit as the correctional officer, but the patches will be black, right? And we call them cucuys, the monsters, right? When they come in, they'll say something like attention. If it's reception center, they'll say attention, E wing, H wing. The cucuys are in the house. The house is on ice, right? That means don't be fishing anything. Don't be doing
yeah,
anything,
yeah,
pretty much. You know what I mean? And then of course they got this I guess you could say or to them or something, where they walk by your cell and they look in. It's like ooh, that's why they say cucuys,
yeah,
because
yeah,
they're your freedom is in their hands. And what I mean by freedom is, because a lot of times people will say, "Oh man, they came and got us. We went to jail," but you're already in prison. So what do you mean you went to jail? What they mean is that we got arrested. We went to the hole. So they'll say we went to jail. We got jacked up. So these guys a lot of times they'll they'll validate guys on some bullshit, and that's what I mean by your freedom is in their hands. They can come up with this, they can concoct this bullshit ass storyline, and say that, oh yeah, he's with this, he's with that, he's about this, he's about that, and then slam you down, and now you're in the Pelican Bay shoe. You know what I mean? And you're not
yeah,
gonna go, not gonna go back to the line no more. Now they don't have that no more. They outdid it though. With the shoe. So it's an ugly situation. You're another thing too, man. I was kind of mentioning it the other day. If you went when you're in reception center, right? Tracy, San Quentin. It's a lot different. Let's say Tracy first, because Tracy is made old. It has the window in the back of the cell where it's got the little knob. You turn it, and the
yeah,
window
yeah,
comes down where it has chains in the corner. You got those type of windows. So what you got there is you got lines that we spin off our boxers, right? We take our boxers away apart, and we start spinning lines. So we use the lines that we take out the boxers, and we spin it, to make it ghost line where you can't really see it. you know, if you throw it out there on the tier to go fishing, you can't really see the line. That's why they call it ghost line. And so you have these lines coming out the back of your window going either upstairs, downstairs. Maybe it might not be directly downstairs, upstairs. It might be upstairs and 2 cells over. You know what I mean? And then you're just constantly, when you need to go send something upstairs or downstairs, you know, you call him and he lets you know, oh yeah, what's up? And you say, hey sir, I got some 2 times going up to you. That means you have 2 separate bundles going up to him. You know, and then you attach it to your line, zip, what do you call that? Slip knot. You slip knot it on the line, and then you tell them, all right, pull, and then they, you know, and it goes up, and then you got it going from one wing to another wing where it got to go over the corridor. Not the corridor, they call it the hallway. You know what I mean? The long hallway, and the line goes over. So they had to shoot with a bow and arrow over. You know what I mean? To attach over there. Okay. Then you got lines going through your vents where your tortoise system is to your neighbors, you know, where the vent is going, and it could be going up and down through there too. And you're constantly, bro, lines going this way, lines going that way. Then you're on the tier on the floor, throwing out your line out there to snag another line so you can send some shit to them, or they're sending stuff to you. And it's all day, bro. So you get your breakfast at we wake up like 5:30 in the morning, right? And you'll hear the guy, oh, that's the rooster. And he'll say, morning, and, you know, he'll put air to get loud as hell. And we're up, and we got to stay up. You know what I mean? And
Yo,
we're
is
not
it
allowed
cold
to
out there, bro?
Cold?
Is it cold where you at?
It gets cold. Yeah, it gets cold because why it gets so.
I'm just asking because I've been listening to you, and I'm looking at the dude on your left hand side in the back with a coat on, just chilling.
Left hand side in the picture?
No, outside your window. The other side, go ahead. Look over.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
I watch, bro.
but no, it does get cold, right? Because what happens is they have the old fashioned wall heaters in Tracy, right?
Yeah.
And for some reason they don't get around. They come around fixing your windows because everybody breaks the windows out because it gets so hot in there.
Yeah.
Everybody breaks the windows out, and they come back around in summertime to fix them, right? So it's like,
your ass off, and
yeah. So what you end up doing is you end up, because it has the big window in the middle that you open it like this, and then it opens like that, and you have the chains in the corners, but then you have the small square windows like this all the way around it. And what they do, they bust those out. So then what we end up doing is we end up getting extra laundry that people, when your celly leaves, you know, they leave it behind.
Yeah.
And we stuff those holes. You know what I mean?
Oh, I got you.
So put it this way, we use that as a refrigerator. Like, say you don't drink your milk or orange juice in the morning, you bring that shit back, you put it in your window, and then say you know, depending if you want to eat, you know, drink it later with some type of dessert or cookies you have or something. The milk's cold. You know what I mean? But the place is ugly. It's old. It's dirty. Oh, I didn't even tell you about the water, bro. The water. First time I got there, I'd always hear about this, but bro, the water would come out fucking brown. It would come out like a burgundy color. It would come out orange. It would come out like dirt. You see dirt shit,
man.
like black. It would come out black. It had a nasty smell to it. Bro, I would not drink that water unless, I mean, because you figure if you're there 2-3 months, you got to drink something, right? Yeah. So basically, that, you know, if you're drinking a lot more coffee, you're drinking a lot more the Kool-Aid. You know, they give you little packs of Kool-Aid, which they say they use it for jet fuel, right?
Yeah.
And then they say it's got aspartame in or something like that in it. So you hear all the rumors that, oh, it messes up you get your erectile dysfunction and fucking all this and that, right? You hear all this shit, right? So yeah, but I mean, hey, the only way I could drink the water is like put the Kool-Aid with it or coffee, you know? That's how nasty it was. And then they finally fixed it. I came back through in 2009, and they fixed it, and it was coming out regular by then. So, but just imagine all those years they were getting away with that shit.
So there must have been a lot of dudes in there called Limpy, huh?
I mean, yeah, you would think, right? Because you hear the stories about John Gotti, right, with that water over there. So just, you know, yeah.
Nah, man. Shit.
Nasty, man. It's just nasty.
I'm looking at looking at some of the comments, Lou.
These youngsters need to know, man. You know.
Yeah, that shit ain't no joke. I'm gonna put up a comment for you real quick, Lou.
Yeah, that's right, Walter. You say he prays that would never separate my family again. I'd move out of California, honestly. Yeah, well, you know what? I'm not doing no crime no more, and I'm working and all that. So you know what? I'm good. You know what I mean? But I get you.
So if anybody has any questions in the chat, they want to shoot out to Big Lou, we're gonna start answering a couple of them.
Yeah, that's it, Walter. Dual vocational institution. That's Tracy, DVI. It's closed down now, though. They closed it down. Nobody's there now. Nobody. Oh, that's another thing. When you wake up at 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, whoever, however you guys do it, your celly gets up first, he
Hmm.
washes up, and then your turn. And then when you get up, obviously you fold your blankets and all that, and then your mattress gets rolled up like a Tootsie Roll, and you try to
Right.
roll it up as tight as you can, and then you
Yeah.
slide it against the wall. Sometimes you can turn it sideways and use it like a couch, like a futon to sit on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and that's where you used to either ride on, or what I used to do was I used to stand on the toilet, 1 foot on the toilet, 1 foot on the bottom bunk, sideways. I would be standing kind of sideways, and I'd be using the top bunk to write. You know what I mean? My celly's bunk, and then it's an old fashioned cell right there where the light bulb is still the pool light bulb.
Hmm.
And it's right above your celly's head on the top bunk. So it's kind of messed up to, you'd be literally reaching over him to try to turn the light on if like something
Yeah.
happened
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
middle of the night. So what we end up doing was we'd end up getting the bread ties off the bread bags, and the bread ties, and you get them off, and you strip the whatever that is, the outside of it, and you use it as you collect a bunch of them, and then what you do, you tap in with the bulb upstairs to your cellies, and you drop it down, and we call it a drop light, and you got to get another bulb though, and then you got your own light bulb downstairs. You know what I mean?
Got
So
you.
because it's kind of rough, man. Like that, where you have to reach over him, and and he might be, like sleeping one eye open. You never know what
Yeah.
you're gonna get with a
He
celly,
up on
man.
you and shit like that.
Yeah,
It is
and
what
then
it
it's a
is,
real
bro.
real dirty. It's just a real dirty old place because I'm not sure when it opened, but it became a prison in the '60s sometime because it was a youth authority first. It
Mm.
was a youth authority, and that's where the Mexican mafia was born at in 1957. Uh, and then it's just real dirty, man. And San Quentin is even dirtier than that. You know what I mean? It's hella dirty.
Well, you
Tone
got to
Loc
remember,
Buzz, what's
man.
up, man?
It was all. I mean, man, to me, it was all political, man. All about
Oh
that
yeah,
money.
absolutely. Yeah, and then it's just some of these youngsters need to think about it, man, because everybody thinks, oh no, I ain't gonna do that. I'm not that. You know what?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm here to tell you right now, you're gonna mind somebody. There's gonna be a man in there, not just a bunch of men that you're gonna listen to what they're gonna tell you. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
might be tough and all that, tough, being tough. Yeah, you can whip some ass and all that, but it's gonna keep coming. You're gonna every time
Yeah.
you land somewhere, they're gonna keep coming at you if you go that route where you think,
You gonna get
I don't like
tested.
what he said, I'm gonna fire on him. You know what I mean? It doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? So,
You know
you're gonna
what
end
they
up like
always taught me? You ain't got no S on your chest, bro.
yeah,
That's the way
yeah.
it
So
is.
you're gonna be doing a lot of things that you're not gonna want to do. You're gonna want to, you're gonna want to, you're gonna want to wiggle the way you want to wiggle, but that's just not the way it works. So you're gonna be putting things where you're not, oh, because you hear people all the time, oh, that's an exit, that's not an entrance.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. You know what I mean? Sounds
Yeah.
good, but it is what it is. And
I see. I seen a lot of tough guys get locked up, man, and they came out. They weren't tough guys no more, bro.
yeah,
Just keeping it
so
real.
you got to, it's put it, man. You know what? It gets a lot, way too much. You get a lot of respect from your youngsters and people from your neighborhoods and all that stuff, but it's not where it's at, man. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
if you want to be part of an organization, man, you want to become part of an organization. Um, I guarantee you that basically, if you're not one of those main, like, you got three generals, and then I would probably even say not even all the captains, maybe half the captains. Everybody else is expendable, man. You know what I mean? To be honest with
Yeah,
you,
it is, bro.
they,
It's
they,
what it
they'll
is.
they'll knock you out the way. If they feel like it benefits them. You know what I'm saying? They'll knock you out the way, no problem. You know what I mean? And it's ugly, man. These guys that are supposed to be your brothers, and they're not supposed to put nothing above you guys, or let anything a wedge in between you
They
guys
turn on you in a heartbeat, bro.
in a heartbeat, man, in a
In
heartbeat.
a heartbeat.
And then when you're supposed to, like, I seen guys get killed that were high ranking members that it was done wrong. They didn't even have a vote like it's supposed to be. Nothing was even done about it. They never even did nothing to retaliate the death by the guy who was responsible.
Yep, yep.
And then now you see these guys. Now they're old men, but you're seeing them in pictures. With all the guys that were they're all in the feds now. They got the RICO. You know what I mean? But only thing they did to these guys where they demoted them, where they could never hold a leadership position again. They got demoted to like the entry level category run, and they can never go higher than a category 1 again. And that's all their punishment was. You
Yeah.
know, and now you see them; they're old men in their 60s and 70s. And they got canes, and they're over there posted up with each other in pictures and smiling. And it's like you think back to what
Yeah.
happened to old boy, and you're like, damn, man. This treachery at the highest level, man. It's
Yeah, yeah.
it's
I got another one for you, brother.
it's ugly, man. Yeah.
Throw my up on the screen.
Blood on the razor wire. Chad will scare youngsters with his story. He has. Yeah, I know. I speak to Chad every now and then. I was supposed to do an interview with him, but I don't know. We'll see what happens.
It's good to scare them, but then you got some kids that not even the scaring works, bro. It's like you gotta try to maneuver them, a different route, and it's rough. It's rough. We were all young, man. We know. We
But
were
you know what happens?
knuckleheads.
You know what happens to those kids? Most likely they're gonna, and we call it career, right? They're gonna fuck the career off real quick. You know what I mean? And it sounds stupid calling it a career, but that's what it is. It's your
And
career.
in the long run,
You,
that is what it is.
yeah, you going in and out the pen for 20 years, 15 years. That's your career because you ain't working.
Yeah.
You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep. Yep.
So that's what's then going to happen. And you know what happens nowadays too, man? When you got these guys that get busted, and man, as soon as they get busted and the handcuffs are put on them, they're locking it up immediately. They're PCing up. Like the last time I went to DVI to Tracy, this kid got off before me, and he came from the county jail as a walk alone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning that every time he was moving, like on a movement, like he was on rec or anything, he would only come out by himself, no celly, you know what I mean? And he gets out, and the cop asked him, "Oh, what'd you run?" He said, "I'm gonna drop out Norteño, or I'm gonna drop out Sureño," he said, or something like that. And he goes, "Drop out." He goes, "What did you drop in of?" He goes, because they know if you've been there before,
Yeah,
even if
yeah,
you're on a
yeah.
different number, they know, right? So that time when I got there on that time, I had to name my other numbers that I had. You know what I mean? That was a fresh number for me, and then I had to name the 2 numbers I had before that. Excuse me. You know what I mean? And so I heard him tell that kid that, because as he's asking him that, I'm getting unshackled and everything. And and that's another thing. You get butt ass naked, you start getting naked before you even get in the door. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you start getting naked even before you get in the door. San Quentin's even more
Good
San
night,
Quentin, it
pal.
happens quicker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then not only that, if they're already handling somebody else that got off the bus before you, the county bus, you're standing there butt naked. Instead of just get naked and be moving along as it's going, you're standing
Yeah.
there naked, and you got women all over. I mean, that's embarrassing. I don't give a fuck how fucking nice looking you think you are, or whatever you think you may be. Because some of these women, they get a kick out of it. It's a game to them too, because the COs are playing with you like it's a game. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah,
I've seen
man.
all that too, where they'll make them bend over 2 or 3 times, acting like they didn't cough loud enough just to humiliate them to do it more and more. Or I've
Yep.
seen there's these cops that are known for fucking having you grab your balls to lift them up, the show, and then have you put your hand in your mouth, and
Yeah,
the
that's
dummy's over
that's
there going,
crazy.
and if you catch it, and you just tell them, fuck you, man, or something like that. You're not
Yep,
really,
yep.
well, my people is, we're not supposed to talk to the cops like that, but if they're disrespecting you, that's different. You know what I mean? Like I told you, like I mentioned before, you're always supposed to be professional, conduct
Yep, yep,
yourself in a
yep.
professional manner. You know what I mean?
That's it, man. That's the way it
So,
is, bro. I
yeah,
mean,
good
what
night,
is
Carol.
the
Good night, Carol. Weddle Buff, ever heard of him? Of course I have. Yeah, Weddle Buff was Weddle Buff Flores. I mean, yeah, Flores. Weddle Buff Flores? Yeah, Flores. Luis Flores. He's from Hawaiian Gardens, from LA, Southeast LA. Yeah, he's one of the co-founders of the MA. Yep. I know a
And
lot
then you have,
more of them than that. I know he's not just the only one. Hondo Lechuga, you got Big D, you got Potato Nose, you got uh Richie Reese, you got Topo Peters, Champ Reno. No, I don't think Champ was later. You got Cheyenne Cadena. They might have been 1960. See, what happened was they started that the MA, the Mexican Mafia. They started in YA, right? When it was YA, they were still kids. And then I guess administration had a big idea that, oh, well, let's send these guys to San Quentin to adult facilities so these adult men can break them out of this because what they thought was, oh, this is just some kid shit,
yeah,
this gang they're starting. Let's send them
we're
to
gonna
where men
scale
are
them.
at. Yeah, and then no, what happened was the guy that they threw off the tier in that movie Mexican Mafia,
Mm-hmm.
when he got to San Quentin, they said it was a big black dude, put his arm around him and tried to say, "Oh, you're my bitch now," and dude just played
Mm,
along with it, went to his cell, manufactured himself a weapon or got a weapon, came back and killed him.
yeah,
And then then it just took off. And what happened was when a lot of these guys ran back into each other, now they're adults and they're like, okay, look, we started this as kids over there at Tracy, but you know what? Now, and they go now, if you want to walk away, that's cool. We're not tripping on that. You got to pass. But from here on out, if you commit to it now, it's a blood in, blood out deal, right?
yeah,
And a lot of the guys said, "Yeah, I'm with it." And I never heard anybody that said no, but that's why you'll hear some guys that say that they're founding member and they're born in like 1941 to like 43, 44 in that age group, and then you got some guys that are a little older than that, and they say that they're a founding member or original, not a founding member, but original member, and that's because it started in 57, but in 61, that's when they said, okay, we're gonna make this now a blood in, blood out deal. So
yeah, yeah,
a lot of guys like Kilroy got in then, and so he was a little bit older than the other guys. But that's where that comes in at. Some people think that certain people are lying, but they're not. It's just you got to get the facts. You got to look
yeah.
into when they were actually a member from the original days of the youth authority or the original guys from the prison system. You know what I mean? Popeye. Talking about Popeye. What Popeye? The Popeye from the movie or Popeye Roman? Oh, and that's another. There's a guy Popeye Roman. He's Puerto Rican. He was Mexican mafia. They just killed him not too long ago. In that
Really?
movie, there's a movie where uh, his real grandson is the actor in the movie. His grandson is getting well known too now. I can't think of his name right now. Um, but yeah, as far as I know, in Mexican mafia there was two Puerto Ricans. Nico Velasquez, who was a member from the '70s, the early '70s, and he got killed too. He became a Christian, and they ended up killing him. And then Popeye Roman, he became a member in the '80s, sometime in the late '80s.
Yeah, yeah. Lou's his
Yep.
own encyclopedia.
They used to call me the homies used to call me on the under like a joke Google.
Little brain, with the 5'3" status.
Yeah. Yep.
I
Yep.
still can't believe people actually believe you were 5 foot something, bro.
Yep. They sent him to Brazil. That's the word they used to use. Send him to Brazil. That meant kill him. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I couldn't get. I got a couple people to believe that, but I couldn't get a FPS to believe it. He'd always be like, "No, no way, I can't." But I know guys that are actually that small, man, that actually had juice, man. They had, they had status, and they were with the business too. They'll stick
Yeah,
you.
but that's a misconception a lot of dudes have, man. That just because you're a short dude, you
Yeah.
can't put it on nobody. That's
Yeah. There's one cat from my town. I got two of his brothers were with cousins of mine, and then his nephews with another cousin of mine, and he's about, I don't know, 5'1", 5 foot, something like that. And then there's another guy that his name is Short Dog. He's from Wilmington area, which is Long Beach, around Long Beach, and he's only like, I want to say he's only about 4'10". He's a
damn.
little dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
but
like
I'm
4
pretty
foot.
sure they quick with that either that
He's an
finger.
old man now. He's an old man now. He's been down about 50 years, 45 years.
Yep, yep.
You know what I mean? But yeah, he's. I mean, I never seen him in person, but I do know his brother. I done time with his brother. He was a neighbor of mine, and he used to always tell me about him. You know what I mean? But like I
Well,
said, I never
remember,
seen him.
you gotta remember, short guys have more to prove, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It is what it is.
And that's his name too, Short Dog.
Shut dog.
Yeah.
Shut dog with a big bite.
Yep. Shout dogs in the mother house. Yep. So you know what I mean? Prison is a
Spence
very
said,
scary. Prison
Spence
is
said, in
very
other words, my size.
yeah. Prison is very scary unless it's without offense. Prison is very scary unless it's one without offense. My friend was a nurse in one. They were there on their honor, so to speak. No one tried. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So he's talking like a ranch or a
Mm,
Usually that's a ranch with no fence. The level one yards, where they consider them support yards, they're the ones that like run the whole institution. Like they do everything for the canteen. They stack all that. They do all the clothes and the blankets. They do all the shit. What else? Let's see. The food, all the food, like to the main kitchen. Uh, you know what I mean? They do all that stuff there. The
yeah, no
support
doubt.
yard. They do the landscaping on the outside. They might go clean the administration buildings. You know what I mean? They call them
Yeah,
support yards. Those yards have a fence around them with like a some barbed wire, but you can you can you can probably I guess you can probably find a way out of there. But the ranches usually on the fire camps, like you can, as long as you're back for count, from what everything I've always heard, as long as you're back for count, you're good. I've heard of guys that have women that go meet them up in the woods and shit. And they'll bring them
yeah,
a bunch
yeah,
of alcohol. They might even take them into town. As long as they bring them back, and they're back before the next count, they're fine. I don't know. I don't know how if that goes on all the time or how. Yeah, Walter. Yeah, Kilroy recently died of COVID. Alfie too. I don't know if you ever heard of Alfie. He just died. Um, Alfie Sosa. I got most of my info from Mundo. I know he is not in good standing though. Yeah, yes, that's who I was talking about. So then if you got most of your info from Mundo, then you know who Alfie is. Then didn't know Popeye was there. You're talking about Walter. You're talking about Popeye, the one they're talking about. And he was very influential with Weddle Sherm and one of the Castellano brothers. I think it was Babo or Tablas, where they made the Mesa system. If that's the Popeye you're talking about, yeah, they killed him. Yep. No, sir, I'm not rocking a Yankees hat. This is a Golden State Warriors hat. I just treated myself the other day. I bought me 3 new hats: a Warriors, a Raiders, and the A's. I bought me new work boots. I bought me a new pair of Air Force Ones. I bought me a new pair of house shoes. You got to do what you got to do, man.
that's
You know
what
what I
it
mean?
is.
Got to treat yourself, boy. So I bought this one, Oakland A's. Can you see that? Yeah, Oakland
Yeah,
A's.
yeah, that shit's hot, bro.
Bought that one, and then this one's a Warriors. And they all got the mesh backs, which I love this design. But I wish it was these are all snapbacks, but I wish they were pro fits. I like the pro fit hats with the mesh backs, but these are snapbacks. But still, I got them and I didn't get them cheap either. These hats were all 31 and $34 and $31.
Put
Yeah.
some. Let's put some little things up here for you, Lou.
Huh?
We're gonna put some comments up for you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Shoot them, peoples.
I'm
Hey,
shooting them up
peoples.
for you. There you go. From the
Great,
brother.
great work, my brother, Bigg Lou.
That's from my
Carlo.
brother.
De nada.
There you go.
Bigg Lou,
Walter,
you
good
should be.
job.
Yep. Thank you, Walter. Yeah, of course I know people from Project Affiliate. My brother used to rap with them. Yeah, Tax Collector, that movie right there. That's Popeye's grandson. And yeah, yeah, they're Boricua. Yeah, that's what I told him. Pelon. What's the guy, the kid's name, the actor? It's with Shia LaBeouf. Matter of fact, Shia LaBeouf's in the movie, and the kid that's the main actor with Shia LaBeouf is Popeye Danny Roman's grandson in real life.
There's a question for you right up on the screen, Lou.
Yeah, that's what I just answered. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I do. My brother used to rap with um, David Dino. Um, I'm trying to remember what song was on that album that my brother's on. Project Affiliate. Yeah, those are all guys I grew up with. We're from the same town. I grew up with all them guys. There you go, Bobby Soto.
Bobby Soto.
Bobby Soto. Yeah, I got that's his name, Bobby Soto. Let me see. Yeah, Yeah, he looks different. Let me see. Oh yeah, that's him, Bobby Soto. Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying to remember what songs are on that Project Affiliates album. Let me see. Project Affiliate. Project Affiliate. I can't find it. Project Affiliate. Let's see if I can find it this way. Mm, yeah, I can't find it. But yeah, Project Affiliate. I'm trying to remember what's on there because you had let me see, you had the GUN CD, then you had GUN CD. My brother's on the song that says the song Steven Adams, Sparkaleno, time to get down with the funky Norteños. Rejects get stuck in the neck for being affiliated with the projects. So that's DJ MT saying that, and he just passed away not too long ago. And then my brother comes in. Um, it's the Brown Bomber, something. I forgot what he says. And then he's on, and then the Project Affiliate album. I can't remember the song that he's on, but he was originally in the group with DJ MT. Um, Ali Sosa was a straight up killer. Yeah, he was the Joe Pesci character, the little man character, like Nicky, or not Nicky, but what's his name? Anthony Spilatro, that type of character. Bigg Lou, the prison. What prison did you have to share your food with? Your cellmate? Yeah, I think he did. Pelon, yeah, Alfie gave the order, I believe so. Um, let's see. Trying to figure out this question. Yankees for life. Oh yeah, somebody asked earlier if Pelican Bay was federal. No, Pelican Bay state prison. Um, Yankees for life. Bigg Lou, the prison. Did you have to share your food with your cellie? Yeah, Robot was a killer too. Robot's the one that kicked off because of Robot's actions. That's what kicked off the shoe wars back in 1960, 68. That's when the Nuestra Familia finally made their move in 1968. The guy, his name was Robert Salas, Robot, aka Robot, and he somehow came up on some shoes from somebody, and from what was the dude's name? Romero. His last name is Romero. Um, I can't think of his first name or his nickname right now, but he was selling with Mad Dog Padilla. Padilla.
Ah,
Romero and Padilla. Yeah, funny,
yeah.
huh? And I remember those dudes, but they were old timers. You hear them in the stories a lot. Anyways, Padilla was from San Jose, and they were actually his shoes. And then he seen this cat on the yard wearing his shoes, right? So he went and confronted the dude, and he told him, "I'm gonna kill you." And he was drinking because it was the weekend of Mexican Independence Day, right? So he was drinking, and what happened was he threatened the guy, and the guy ended up Robert Robot Salas. He got threatened by the dude whose shoes they were, and he told him he was going to kill him. So this dude went back. He was with the business, went and got his piece, came right to the dude's cell who threatened him, and handled his business. and that kicked off the so-called what they call the shoe wars of the '60s, and that's when the NF made their move, and they considered their birthday September 16th. But really, well, according to Mundo, it didn't happen on that day, like they said. It was the weekend of the 16th, so it was like the 14th or the 15th when they actually made the move. You know what I mean? But what's weird is that he ended up the guy's Padilla whose shoes they were. His celly was Romero, and he was from L.A., but he was he was a North Familia sympathizer, or he might have been a member. I can't remember offhand right now, but that guy Robot ended up killing him in the streets of LA. He ended up killing him. Let's see, Valley Boy, yeah, it's on the GUN. Yeah, that song is, but I'm trying to remember Valley Boy. I'm trying to remember the name of the song that my brother's on the Project Affiliate album. Yeah, Barrio, yeah, Harpies. I think I believe Popeye is the only member ever from Harpies that was a made member of the Mexican Mafia. Let's see. It's called Project Affiliated. Yeah, let me see. Hey, Walter, where are you from, Walter?
Walter's got a lot of good answers here. I don't know. I'm thinking the same
Well,
thing.
he said in there that he watches Mundo. Mundo's an ex Mexican mafia member that defected in the late '70s, and he's like he's got a big time role with law enforcement, with the federal agencies, where he goes and speaks at you know what I mean, seminars and conventions and shit. You know, because really, to be honest with you, most of the rules and stuff like that have been in place since his day, and I think he got made in 1970, 1971. The reglas, the rules are pretty much the same to this day.
Yeah, no doubt.
You know, so they can still use him. You know what I mean? They can still use him. Let me see if I can figure this out, man. Project Fat, Project Load. I don't know why I can't find this.
Lou gonna be looking for that all night now.
Yeah, I'm gonna quit because I can't get nowhere. Um, absolutely knows his stuff 100%. Robot had polio. Yeah, yeah, and they call him Robot because I want to say that he had some type of like how Forrest Gump had those things on his legs. And I think Forrest Gump had polio too. Yeah, they called him Robot because of the whatever you know mechanical deal they put on him or whatever.
Here's another one
What
for you, my
side of
brother.
Tracy you from? Do you know any Carranzas? I know all the Carranzas. What are you talking about? You talking about the Carranzas that came from LA, came from the San Fernando Valley and then moved up there
Saludos,
to
Gabriel.
Tracy? Or you talking about the Carranzas that are from there that they're the drummer, Crow's the drummer, and the brother Joe's a correctional officer. Gabriel Martinez in the house, huh? Saludos, fellas. How you doing, Gabriel Martinez? Yeah. You a Carranza Valley boy? Johnny Boy Carranza, Andy, and little Chris and them? Or what Carranza family you talking about? Jacksonville, Florida.
Walter's from Jacksonville.
Jacksonville, ain't that where? No, no, no. I was gonna say Jacksonville. Roy Jones is from. He's not from Jacksonville, is he? I know he's from Florida. I didn't know there was a Mexican mafia. Do they follow a code of their own, or is it patterned after the Italian mafia? So originally it was somewhat patterned after Italian mafia. That's why they used the black hand, and that's why they got the name Mexican mafia. But as far as the hierarchy, there's no such thing as everybody's supposed to be equal. There's no such thing as ranks or any of that. But my family is originally from Southside Tracy. Yeah, but what family are you from? What's Carranzas? Because both Johnny Boy Carranza. You relate to Johnny Boy? That's he with Uti's dad. R.I.P. Both of them. Or you related to the other Carranzas, Javi Carranza and Joe Carranza? Mundo keeps changing the channel name and disappearing, though I guess it's how he got it. Yeah, and he still covers his face in his day. He did a show with the next San Diego cop, and he off the plane. They picked him up off the plane, man. It was like a Mission Impossible type deal, man. Where like, or kind of like the president, man, where they had these guys like Secret Service, and they, it probably was just a little scene they put together, but he definitely has his face covered. You know what I mean? Being mysterious gets new views. Being mysterious. I saved some of Tony's audio where Conejo de Role. Yeah, matter of fact, there was a cat from he's from California, but he's from like the desert area, kind of. It's close to like Arizona border. I want to say, definitely close to Mexico. He was in a facility where Gene Gotti was, and he said he worked with Gene Gotti in the laundry area. He was a Mexican mafia member. I gotta ask my fam. I don't know. I don't know none of them. I'm a little younger. Well, let's see. I'm trying to think. What about ain't the? I want to say. Correct about this. Yeah. Pretty sure I am. I know the Carranza's got let me see. Javi's wife is like Hawaiian, Filipino mixed. I don't know if you relate to that side. Well, how old are you, Valley Boy? I know you say you're a little younger, but I'm trying to figure out. You might be the age of my nieces and stuff. Yeah, Pensacola. That's right. Roy Jones Jr. Before this channel got shut. Before his channel got shut down. See some like. Yeah, but Tony start another. He's got another channel, I believe. Yep, time flying. Yep. A lot of that stuff's pretty interesting. It's interesting, just like like the Cosa Nostra. You know what I mean? Um,
Valley
the
Boy's
other group,
28 too.
Valley Boy, you're 28, so you got to be. Man, I got a lot of. Let me see. Angel, Angel. Do you live in Tracy still, or did you move away? Matter of fact, you've asked your family. One of the Carranzas, Javi Carranza. They're on Palm Circle. I don't know if you know where that's at. Palm Circle. They're from over there. And then his brother Joe, Big Joe Carranza. He was a correctional officer for the California Department of Correction, and then he became transportation sergeant, where he just would drive the bus up and down the state, taking people to their destinations.
Did we get to this one here, Lou?
Which one? Yeah, that's what I was talking about right now. That's the one I was just telling you about. With the guy was in the feds, and he worked in the laundry with Gene Gotti.
Gene Gotti.
Yeah. So this guy right here, Tony. He's okay. So he said I saved some of Tony's audios where Conejo de Role talks about when him and Boxer de Lomas worked for Gene Gotti in the feds. Yeah, I think they were pushing some dope for him too. They said. Yeah, I know. Okay, Gabriel. So I'm from California. My co-hosts here, they're from New York. So I know a lot of. I had a lot of cellies from TC, bro. I know a lot of cats from TC. TC stands for Tulare County for anybody that don't know, and that is around. It's south from where I'm at, close near Fresno area, but it's not Fresno area. So what I mean by that is, it's a Fresno. The city of Fresno is in Fresno County. Tulare County is its own county, but it's down that way. You know what I mean? Let's see. Yeah, he said, yeah, so this guy right here was telling some stories about Gene Gotti how he acted, and I guess he had it where he had like his chair, nobody was sitting in his chair, you know what I mean, stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. I'm from Modesto. I'll ask fam and tap in on the next live. Yeah, okay, I'm from Modesto. Okay, yeah, so you're probably related to yeah, most likely you're probably related to the Carranzas, Javi and Joe Carranza. And yeah, and that's another thing. Javi plays the drums. I forgot to mention that. He's a drummer, old school drummer from the town, from right there. The other ones, the other Carranzas, if you didn't recognize that name, Uti or Johnny Boy, yeah, because they would Uti would be around your age now, or maybe a little. Let me see. Yeah, about at least 25, and he passed away. But yeah, it's probably the other ones, I mean, related to. Excuse me, Joe Carranza, Javi Carranza, and then the sister. They got a sister, and she was married to Richard Constancio from Stockton, and he recently drowned. I'm not sure what happened about that. But what part of TC are you from, Gabriel? MA are more ruthless version of the LCN. Uh, well, see, that's the thing, though. See, that's the thing is that Cosa Nostra guys, it's not when they go to prison, man. They're model inmates. They don't get in trouble in there. Now, don't get me wrong. There's times where they got to fight, or something arises over something. You know what I mean? But for the most part, they go and do their time, and they don't really catch extra time. Now, when you come to the Mexican Mafia and the NF and all that, and the AB, those things started behind the walls. They're prison gangs. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a big difference. You really can't compare the two. You know what I mean? Okay, I thought Homeboy had that
Gabriel
accent.
picked up the accent real quick, huh?
Yeah, I thought Homeboy had that accent. What, a TC accent? Okay, I thought Homeboy had that accent. What accent? New York accent?
But
Well,
from
he
you.
had asked if I knew anybody from TC. You guys know homies from TC, so then that's why I explained. Well, I'm from
Yeah.
California, and you guys are from New York.
Yo, we gonna bring in all the brother real quick.
I seen a doc on New
Brother
Mexico
Mr. Munoz.
riot. Gave me nightmares for a year. I wish I could see. It was brutal.
My
Senor
brother, how's it
Muniz.
going in there, man?
No,
No,
it's going good. You did a good job, Lou.
yeah,
Excellent.
there was a lot more. There was a lot of things I could touch on, but and it just happened that way. You know what I mean? I don't really want to get into. You guys already
Nah,
know,
bro.
We
but just for
Listen,
the
we
yeah, just for the
understand completely, brother.
yeah,
we
just for
listen,
the
bro. Like I said, whatever makes a person uncomfortable makes me uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? So I
yeah,
let everybody go with the flow, do what they gotta do, say what they want to say.
yeah,
We had an awesome chat. Great people. Thank you all for the support.
Definitely, definitely. And we got a lot of people in here that are knowledgeable, bro. I'm gonna tell you
yeah.
right off the gun, bro.
So
They got
Gabriel,
it.
Gabriel, you're from Visa. Yeah, I know a lot of cats from Visa. Matter of fact, when I was talking about that time when I went to Pleasant Valley, I had three cellies from Visalia. Um, a lot of them, yeah, they're pretty well known dude. Big Ursula Tavares, Tocayo Arenas, and there was the TC was pretty deep right there. There was about 10, 12 homies from TC. Um, and then I know some big cats from there too. Silver, I know Silver, Beto Palomino.
I learned a lot off of this tonight.
A couple other ones I can't. My mind went blank right now.
Well, that's what we want to do. That's what the
Tiendas,
whole
the
crowd
Tienda
wants to
brothers.
do, brother.
I know one of the Tienda brothers pretty good. Jojo, met him years back. I wonder where
See,
he's
now
at
y'all
now.
guys in the chat, y'all gonna have Lou thinking about this all night, bro. Lou gonna be scratching his head like,
Yeah.
man.
Well, see, like the CN, the Cosa Nostra, their money, they're about making money on the street. See, the MA, they make money on the street and in the inside. These dudes were, see, and how they do it is their whole structure is different than the NF. The NF, the MA will, like, say, for example, if you guys were, say, we'll just say Brooklyn and the Bronx was in California, right? And you
Mhm.
guys are from, you're from Brooklyn and Carlos from the Bronx.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're pretty,
Like
what
you
they'll
know,
do is they'll cut you out, areas in there, and certain guys will work for you. You know what I mean? And so much money will come to you. So a lot of the problem that they end up having amongst themselves is some guys get greedy and they don't want to, they want to keep all that money they're making for themselves instead of sharing with some of the profits with their brothers, or let some of their brothers have a little piece of the pie. You know what I mean? And I read that book by Boxer, the Black Handbook, that he was making like 40,000 a year. Well, I don't know if it was 40,000 a year, but he was able to send his kids to college and stuff. You know what I mean? From his shoe sale, where he's only coming out, a total of 10 hours a week. You know what I mean? No, yeah, I got it now, but yeah, I got you, Gabriel.
damn, I ain't been called homeboy in over like 25 years. Holy shit, makes me feel young again.
Yeah, that accent's still there.
Silver
Bro,
passed
wherever
away,
I
huh?
go, it don't go away.
Yeah, so what they do is they work like that, and then you might have also on top of that, you might have uh for example, since I mentioned Corcoran earlier, you might have Corcoran B yard might be your yard, and you make all the money off that yard that are from the south side or the Sureños, you know what I mean? Or you might have the whole prison, you know what I mean? The whole prison might be going in your pocket, so that's how they do their stuff. And then the NF's a lot different. I don't want to get into that. You know what I mean? I mean, we'll go
Yeah,
ahead and yeah.
that's one thing that it's like I said, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't get into talking about crews that are still active and stuff like that. That's a no.
Greetings, Stacy. Boxer from Artesia. Yeah, Boxer from Artesia. Damn, Walter's all up on
That's
this stuff,
easy.
boy.
Nah, Walter's up on it, man.
Yeah, Walter's up on it. He pays
Absolutely,
attention. He pays
absolutely
attention.
not, absolutely nothing, nothing of anybody still active.
Yeah, nah, that's one thing I
No,
will touch on
no,
because
no, none of the names I've said so far. None of the names
yeah,
I've
no,
said
I know,
are
man.
active.
That's what's up.
Yeah, as far as I know, maybe one name that I said is probably still active. Maybe, I don't know, but most of the names, yeah, I won't say. And anyways, I said a name he's not even known by, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, most everybody I said is not active. Yeah,
Lindo no
Silver
está
Pass,
vivo.
he was already bad. Beto, I heard fell off, and I just found that out recently. And then yeah, all the names that are Walter's saying that he learned from Mundo, yeah, none of them are. Um, only one that well, never mind. I don't need to elaborate that because I'm not sure. But yeah, no, yeah, we don't do that here. We don't do that here. And just for anybody's information, if you guys would like to know, we will not be platforming any informants, cooperators, uh, anybody that's
So
helped.
the word of my people, aquí no hay chota.
Yeah, and anybody that helped put away anybody, we're not doing that here. You know what I mean?
No,
Um,
only men who stand on their 10 toes.
yeah, and yeah. So I heard somebody say the other day in the chat that Boxer loved the Tecate, or you mean
La
are you
tecata.
trying to say Boxer's a Tecato? You trying to say
Yeah,
he's a
they
dope
call
fiend?
it
He likes the dope,
yeah.
or are you like saying he likes the beer? I don't know, because Tecate is a kind of beer, Mexican
No,
beer,
what I say tecata, they talk about dope.
That
manteca.
boy, the boy.
Yeah, the boy. Yeah, so it'd be Tecato. He's a. You would
Yeah.
want to say Boxer es un Tecato. The different segments admire the Latin estilo, or was it mainly the Southern estilo? Okay, so oh man. Okay, so yeah, they kind of admired just what I know of from the the opposition of the Mexican mafia. Yeah, they also admired it to a degree as far as the rank. They had ranks. But instead of it being the boss, it was there was three generals of the organization, and then there was 10 captains. But it works differently because you can be on the street and you'll be a regiment commander of a crew, and that's pretty much like a captain on the street, like how a crew of the Italian mob is. So you have capo regimes, which is captains, or capo de chinas, which is captain of 10, That's the old school version of it. It would be 10 guys up under a captain, and that's how they ran it. So it's similar to that, but it's called a regiment commander, RC. Panel, maybe you might have to interview Walter. Yeah, maybe Walter. We can.
That's right.
Yeah, you never know. That's it. Been a while. Yeah, all good. Yeah, slang for H. Yeah, tecato. Yeah, but we
Well,
got there's
just to
different
let
words for
Walter
it.
know, we got the subscriber of the week. So who knows?
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Who
yeah,
knows?
yeah. I wanted. That's what I wanted to tell you. Talk to you guys about on that. But I'll tell you. We'll talk off the air.
Sure.
I forgot earlier. If you guys haven't already hit the subscribe button, hit the subscribe button, please. Share and like it.
Yeah,
And like
like
it. Yeah,
so,
Stacy
Walter.
saying hi, Carlos. I don't know if you've seen it.
So
Yeah,
Walter
I
just
said hi to Stacy.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't seen Stacy in a while. Then I seen her pop up on Lefty the other day.
Stacy been working her tail off.
That's it.
Walter said he's just a tan nerd who
Yeah, he
enjoys listening.
enjoys listening.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
but
know about all that nerd shit when you when wrong things are said, what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't think no nerds there.
that's the thing.
A guy that means, yeah, maybe a nerd, but that means business. Don't fuck with me. You know what I mean?
But that's the thing.
Yeah.
That's what the subscriber of the week is. It doesn't matter if you have a criminal background or you're at ordinary mode. We all get along with each other, and that's what it's about.
Yep.
Yeah. Mickey Griggs.
Now I believe in giving
Good
the
evening, Mickey. I think I said
chat
hello to Mickey already. I'm not sure. I think I did. But if not, good evening, Mickey Griggs. What is it? Mickey Griggs. That would be me. Who wins? That would be me. Okay.
So for
Yes,
those
I
that
have. I'm
tuned
paid
in,
off.
we
Picked
give
up
a little
inventory.
brief history on Lou, because we
Yeah,
wanted to have him shoot his stuff out today.
yeah. We wanted to do that because in the community we come from, my brother's been getting a bad rep, and a lot of people have been putting bad bones on my brother, not understanding that he's a stand up man and stands on
Exactly.
his 10 toes and changed his life around.
That's exactly
Yeah.
it.
And because of certain things that have been said recently that I 1000% disagree with and don't dig at all. I have a new outlook and stance on somebody. I'm gonna leave it
Exactly.
at that. It ain't. I really don't. Like I said before, I don't care what anybody thinks about me. If you don't, because of whatever you don't like me, that's one thing. But don't put no false shit on me. You know, and and I don't even feel other than what I just said now, as far as about a new outlook on stance on things. I'm just gonna leave it at that. It ain't nobody. I don't have to go in no details. You know what I mean? Other than with my two brothers right here, because that's just the way it is with us.
Exactly.
Y'all should do an episode on
The
Latinos
Buck
and
50,
baseball
and
and
that's
how.
about it, man.
Yeah, Pelone X8. Don't trip. We got that. I'm gonna. Yeah,
We got
that's
you
already
covered, bro. We
being
got you
put
covered.
together. I've already been doing things on it now. Um, you know, but my two brothers right here really ain't into baseball like that. They're more into boxing, but doesn't mean we're not gonna do it.
You get
You know
into
what I
anything,
mean?
I get into soccer, I'll do whatever y'all want to
Yeah,
hear.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, because baseball, man. I mean, I don't care if you're Dominican, Puerto Rican, Cuban, even Mexicans. There've been a lot of Mexicans in
We got a
baseball.
lot of good ones, man.
You got Fernando Valenzuela, Teddy Higuera. Those are the old school pitchers from the '80s. You know what I mean? Then you got Nomar Garcia Parra. You got Vinny Castilla. You got dude that just was playing out to Gonzalez, Adrian Gonzalez. You got oh man, what's his name? He played shortstop or second base. Eddie. Oh, you had Eric Chavez from the A's. These guys are all Mexican players. You know what I mean? There's another guy right now. He just lost my mind. And then of course, Dominicans. There's a ton of them. Manny Ramirez, A Rod, Sammy Sosa, Vladimir Guerrero, Pedro Martinez, Ramon Martinez, Juan Marshall, the Lou brothers. At one point in time, the Giants had all three Alou brothers starting in the outfield. It was Felipe, Matty, and Jesus Alou. All three brothers playing right, center, and left field for the Giants. You know what I mean? And you had Juan Marshall, another Dominican. You had there's a ton of Dominicans that play baseball. Pedro Guerrero, there's a whole bunch. You know what I mean? Uh, Miguel Tejada, and the list goes on and on. You know what I mean? Puerto Ricans, no, the list goes on and on. Roberto Clemente,
Mira,
Ruben
I didn't even read
Sierra.
that one. They said Babe Ruth was secretly Dominican.
Yeah, I
Oiga,
don't
esa
know.
maldita vaina.
Yeah. You know what I heard too a long time ago? They said that Cal Ripken, remember Cal Ripken played on the Orioles?
Mhm.
They said he was Puerto Rican, his mom or something like that. I don't know. I don't know how true it is. But then again, you never know, man. You know, somewhere, it could be. Did you guys know this? Ted Williams is half Mexican. Yeah, I just remember that right now. Ted Williams, the old baseball player, his mother's Mexican.
I
Yep.
didn't know that.
Yeah, I just read that not too long ago. I was shocked as hell when I seen that. What the hell? And you got football. You got Jim Plunkett. You got from the Raiders. The old man just barely went in. Flores, Tom Flores. He's from right over here, Fresno area, and he's a Mexican. First Mexican quarterback. First Mexican player with a ring. First head assistant coach with a ring. First to win a Super Bowl. First Mexican coach to be the head coach and win a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? He barely went into the Hall of Fame. Jim Plunkett's half part Mexican. Ron Rivera is half Mexican, half Puerto Rican. He's the second coach to be a head coach of a Super Bowl team. They didn't win though, but still. And he was a linebacker for the Bears. You know what I mean? Back to the baseball, you got Roberto Clemente, you got Orlando Cepeda. You know what I mean? You got Ruben Sierra, Juan Gonzalez, you got Jose Guzman, you got Bobby Bonilla, you got Edgar Martinez, you got
You know what, bro?
with that too. All the catchers, Benito Santiago, Sandy
Benito
Alomar.
Santiago, that was my boy. Before I blew my shoulder, I was a catcher. I had a
Yeah,
cannon. I never stood up. It was right off my
yeah.
knees. Fried
That's what he
chicken.
did. That's what he
Fried.
did. He would throw guys out from the catcher position all the way to second from his knees, throw them out.
Oh yeah,
So did Pudge Rodriguez.
fried chicken all day.
We got
Yeah.
our next show, guys. A lot of people out here want baseball. We're gonna give them
Yeah,
that
you got
baseball.
since Yankees for life, you got all the catchers were Puerto Rican. Since he's Yankees for life, you got Jorge Posada. You had Javi Lopez. We already said Santiago, Pudge Rodriguez, Sandy Alomar, the Molina
Alomar, yep.
brothers. There's like three of them, Puerto Ricans, all catchers. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
You got nowadays you got them youngsters. You got Carlos Correa and you got Javi Baez and you got Francisco Lindor. Those are three badass youngster Puerto Rican players right now. They've been bad. I mean, like outstanding players for the last few years already. You know what I mean?
Anthony, thank you for coming in, buddy. Appreciate it.
Anthony salutes. No, Anthony says salute. Okay, I just came to give your show a like and some support, guys. Yep, thank you.
Anthony says
We need
salute.
some help. We need some big help sharing, guys.
Respect. Anthony says salute.
Yeah, Daniel Infante. Oh, Ramon Hernandez. Ramon Hernandez. That was a picture for the White Sox, the relief pitcher. Yeah. Hate me if y'all want, but baseball best sport ever created. Yeah, I used to think that when I was younger, but then when I got a taste of that basketball, I went basketball. But baseball, baseball is the dream of these kids, man. These kids come from third world countries such as Venezuela and Dominican Republic, and even Puerto Rico, even though it's part of the United States, it's poor over there. It's not like what people think. You know what I mean? These kids are trying to make it either baseball or boxing. They're trying to make it. You know what I mean? They're trying to get out of there and do big. Well, I don't want to say get out of there, but they want to do big because I don't care. All the people, Puerto Rican people, when they make it big, they always come back and spread the love to their folks. That's for sure. You know what I mean? Keith Hernandez. What about Keith Hernandez? He's from California, but they say he's Spaniard though, not Mexican. Ramon Hernandez, the catcher from the A's during the early 2000s. Okay, I was thinking of picture, but I think now I'm thinking of it, his name
Yeah,
was
I'm trying to think of the Yankee that he's Dominican. He did the Michael Jackson move. What was his name? He was dark,
Sanchez.
real
Eric
dark, and he started getting all kind of stuff, and now he's white. I forgot his name.
Sammy Sosa.
That was Sammy Sosa.
Yeah, but he's not. He's a Cub, Chicago Cub.
Eso lo que era. Wow.
Yeah, he's white now. He's like Michael Jackson. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he did a
all
Michael Jackson move.
yeah,
That
he's
that
all freaking.
that
He's
bleach,
all
the bleach soap.
Yeah,
yeah, what do you
Sosa.
call that?
That's right.
Clorox, bleached and shit.
Yeah, that
Weird.
boy, man. Listen.
Yeah, he has over 600 career home runs, and he ain't. And this was his, I want to say him too. So Barry Bonds. So you're allowed to be on the ballot for 10 years, and if you don't make it, they take you off, right? And I believe that Barry Bonds, Clemens, and him, Sosa. I believe this all was their 10th year on there. So that means now that the only way they'll get in is if um I forgot the name of it exactly, but they're the ones that put in the old players in. You know what I mean? Because you the sports writers vote, they got majority of the say, and then I think oh man, I have to find out what they're called. They're called like I can't remember what they're called. But does anybody know in the chat? Walter, do you know what the people that vote the Hall of Fame people in? I know it's the sports writers, but what's the one the category where they they're the ones that vote the old players in? They have a certain name. Are you serious? Bleach? Well, I don't know if he used bleach, but
Well,
he's
so we
yeah,
don't
he's
know what
white.
to use,
He's
man.
bleach white
He
like
was
Michael
though
Jackson
now.
was.
Yep.
Sammy Sosa. Yep. Keith Hernandez. Not sure why I said him. He was a Met. Yeah, he was a Met, but he was a Cardinal before that. When he got his MVP, he was on the Cardinals.
There's your answer, Lou. Select committee.
Yeah, there you go. Select committee.
Good
Sosa
job,
corked
Pop.
his back, right?
Good
That's
job
probably
pounding the
why he
pink
didn't get in.
bill.
No, ex Pelon X8. No, Sosa didn't get in because he's attached to the steroid scandal. Him, Manny Ramirez, A-Rod, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens,
Edward,
Mark
appreciate you being
McGuire,
here.
Rafael Palmeiro, all them guys. Nelson Pad, 51, Big Lou, Carlos, good show tonight. Yep, thank you, Everett. Every time I want to say his name, I want to say it like Gunsmoke says it. Everett, like on the turntable. I don't know the answer to that one. Yeah, Pinkville just said select committee. The select committee for like the OGs or whatever. No, say it ain't so, baseball, Lou. But when I was younger, my dad and me, and he had me trained on all the home run lists. Like I could baseball trivia, no problem. I mean, I'm still like that now, except for some of the newer records that maybe been broke, in more recent years. But like if you ask me how many home runs does Sosa have or so and so have, I'll be like, well, they're in the 600s. I can tell you that. And A-Rod was like close; he almost hit 700. He was off by, I think A-Rod has 687. I think it is. The massive forearms from the late 90s, early 2000s. Yeah, like Mark McGuire, Baseball Board of Trustees. Yeah, that might be it. Hall of Fame Board of Trustees.
Yeah, Mickey
Mickey
Griggs got
Grilly.
one for you too.
Who?
Mickey Griggs got one for
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I thought you said Ricky. Somebody said Dave Winfield. Where did I see that at right now? Dave Winfield? Oh yeah, Walter Shaw. Yeah, Dave Winfield. A lot of people don't know, but Dave Winfield was a jock, man. Straight, he could play it all: baseball, basketball, and football. Very talented dude. So was Tony Gwynn. Well, Tony Gwynn was a baseball and a basketball player. I mean, he had a lot of game in basketball. Tony Gwynn. I don't know. You guys familiar with that name?
Oh yeah, San
Tony
Diego
Gwynn.
Padres.
Yeah, badass basketball player. But Dave Winfield was a baseball player, 6'6", 6'5" baseball player. He had game. Dude with the memory like that, are you good at math? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, counting 20s, counting 10s. Yeah, I would just count them by the number and then round it and then times in my head. That's from the dope dealing days. To be honest with you. Yep, exactly. Drafted by the San Diego Clippers. Yep. Yes, sir. So Pinkville, he knows what's up too. He's in that. He knows a little something, something.
Growing up
pounding
in
that
the
old
Bronx,
pink.
I was a diehard baseball Yankee fan, and it changed to the mid '80s when I became football fan, and that's been my love since.
So yeah, the Yankees. So they had. So when I was coming up, when I used to, a lot of times I would, like in school, I wasn't paying attention to school, and I would write down the lineups for all the baseball teams in the league. You know what I mean? I would write them all down: first base, second base, third base, shortstop, catcher, right, center, left, pitcher. You know what I mean? The Yankees at that time they had Dave Winfield, Steve Sachs, they had Ricky Henderson, they had Willie Randolph, they had what's the name? Don Mattingly. You know what I mean? They were stacked. Ron Goodry. You know what I mean? Don
David
Mattingly was
Getty.
fucking bad as hit. The dude Don Mattingly, Golden Glove and hit for average, and runs batted in. Don Mattingly was up, but he got
Johnny
that back
Baseball.
injury. He got that back injury and messed him up. I've been down on sports. You could do anything, honestly, bro. I got a bachelor in organic chemistry, and I suck at math. Yeah, I was dedicated to it. You can do anything you want with memory like that. The Goose, yes, sir. What is that? Rich Gossage, the
Yes,
Goose.
sir.
Yep,
Rich
he was on the
Gossett.
Yankees too. And then remember, Mr. October, 1977, when Reggie Jackson hit the 3 home runs. That was
I
in
was at that game in the bleachers. I was
it
5.
was. That's cool. Plus, they played out at the Bronx back then. They're
Yes,
still
sir.
at the old Yankee Stadium. Where's the new one at? Is it still the Bronx?
I honestly I haven't been over there since I've been out here in Florida 20 plus years. So
Look at Finn Larson. I know absolutely nada about baseball, but I bet you know about football, lad. Soccer. What
Yo,
soccer's
Carlos,
like, dude? Soccer's
you
great.
remember the Reggie Jackson bar?
oh yeah,
The what?
The Reggie Jackson bar.
big
Do you guys know Reggie
coffee,
Jackson
peanuts
before
and
Puerto
raisins.
Rican?
Yeah, that's what they say.
Who's Huff? Charlie Huff? Los Tres Amigos still at it, huh? Yes, sir. We still at it. Favorite teams were the Cardinals, Dodgers, Yanks, and Padres when I was younger. Damn, that's too many teams. And all baseball. Ooh, I got one team. That's it. The A's. I got the Warriors in basketball and the Raiders in football. There ain't no such thing as my AFC team, my NFC team, my American League team, my National League team. No. Oh yeah. Oh no. About soccer. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it, man. The A's, the Warriors, and I've been a Warrior fan all my life because you got a lot of people and they came at me with this stupid shit. Oh yeah, I bet you were a Kings fan, and then when the Warriors start winning, you start liking them. No, I've always liked the Warriors, always since I can remember. 1984, 1985, I can remember that far back. I was 6 years old. I was a Warrior fan already. You know what I mean? Because of my dad and my brother. They were from Oakland originally. So the Warriors, Giants, and Niners. Yeah, that mixed too because the Warriors, when they came here, they were out of San Francisco first, and then they went to Oakland. Now they're back in San Francisco. But the Warriors and the A's originally came from Philadelphia. If anybody don't know, the A's went from Philly to Kansas City. Then they came to Oakland. I think they came to Oakland in '64 or '66, something like that. Yeah, there was no teams in the West Coast. The Giants came from New York. The Dodgers came from Brooklyn, right? The the Lakers came from Minneapolis. The Warriors came from Philly. The A's came from Philly to KC and then to Cali. You know what I mean? The Niners were from San Francisco. Even the Rams, they came from Cleveland first. Rams came from Cleveland. The, the Clippers were from San Diego, but I think no, that was the Kings. The Kings were from Kansas City Kings, and then they went to Sacramento. And then the Clippers came out sometime I think in the '70s. And then the Padres original, but that was way later. But yeah, they didn't have nothing out west. You know what I mean? Just the 49ers. They're the original. Braves came from Boston. Yeah, Boston Braves, and then they went Milwaukee Braves, and then Atlanta. LA came from Brooklyn. Yeah, I already mentioned that. Stallone, we're doing a lefty gun special. Oh yeah. The Cubs, Bears, Bulls, and Blackhawks. Yeah, all Chi-Town. So you're from Chi-Town, Pelone X8? Yeah, that's all. Or probably your family, probably your dad or somebody came from Chicago or that area, and then you just passed down the line, probably. What did it say? Clippers in 82, 83. Yeah, maybe. Carlos, get your smoke on. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Slice Alone always be saying stuff like that. You smoking, and he tells me the same things over and over again. I don't know if he remembers or not. He'll keep telling me, "Is your car down? Is your car? Or do you still got it? Did you sell it?" And I'm like, "What do you?" So yesterday I started messing with him, and I kept saying the same thing over and over again to him. Okay, that's what's up. Alone X8,
Sly Stallone rock.
Chi-Town. Yeah, Sly Stallone, the 619er. The Rey Mysterio Jr., 619. Sly Stallone. You know this? What is that, Carlos? Blowing?
Yep, he knows I blow it.
Okay.
I blow it out. 420 friendly.
Puff Puff Pet. Hey, I've been a Warriors fan since '94. People be hating because recently we turned. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? I really know that year real well. Chris Webber, Carlos Rogers, Victor Alexander, Chris Gatling, Byron Houston, Spreewell. You know what I mean? Keith Jennings. Let's see, who am I missing? I don't think no, Donald Foyle yet wasn't there yet. A few more years after that. But yeah, the Warriors were shit. And then the Warriors drafted maybe no, a little later. The Warriors drafted Anthony Hardaway with the 3rd pick, and then they traded it to Orlando for the 1st pick for Chris Webber. 1993 draft. Yeah, so that was Webber's 2nd season. But I think Webber held out as no. Did he?
Did Chris Martin play for them too?
Yeah, Chris. Oh yeah, why did I forget about him? Duh, that's crazy. Chris Mullin was, I think, yeah, he was still there in '94. And then he got traded to Indiana. But Chris Mullin is the well, no, that wasn't you. That was somebody else mentioned St. John's because he's Chris Mullin's from Hell's Kitchen. Chris Mullin was he's another dude, man. Just not as bad as Larry Bird, but you know he's got to be like, you know, when you talk about baddest white boys, you know, you're talking Larry Bird, Rick Barry, Jerry West, you know what I mean, Pistol Pete, you know what I mean, Chris Mullin got to be there, you know, somewhere in that top 10.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's a 5-time All-Star, All NBA first team in '92, 2-time All NBA second team, All NBA third team once. His number's retired by the Warriors. He's got the John R. Wooden Award, the USBWA Player of the Year '85, College Player of the Year '85, consensus first team All American '85, consensus
Dream
second
team
team
too, right?
'84. Huh?
Wasn't he on the dream team too?
Absolutely. So he averaged for his career 18.2 points a game. That's pretty damn good because his last, I can't think offhand exactly how many years, but he wasn't a main option or second option or third option no more once he got to Indiana, and still averaged almost 18 points a game. That's hella good. He's got 2 gold medals, '84 Olympics and the '92 Dream Team. So he's drafted. Let me see. He was he played with the Warriors from from the 85-86. Okay, 96-97 season he left, and he went to the Pacers. So yeah, he was there too. And right now he's the coach.
Bird was what to me was the most dangerous clutch shooter in NBA history.
Yep, I'd agree with that. I would agree with that a lot. Yep,
Larry
and if you
Bird
put
was just a bad man.
Yep, Drazen Petrovic was he was too. But what happened with Drazen Petrovic was he got drafted by Portland, and they had Terry Porter at the point, and they had Clyde the Glide at the 2 guard. So they never even, you know, Drazen didn't even get to, you know what I mean, until he got to New Jersey, and then he lit it up his first, second, or I don't know if he made it even 2 seasons, and he had that accident and he lost his life. Yeah, Bob Cousy, that's another bad white dude. Bob Cousy.
Drazen, that was so sad. That was so sad.
Kiki Vanderway, Tom Chambers, Mark Price, John Stockton's got to be on there. Mark Price had a couple good seasons where he was badass, but you got let me see, a couple of them other white dudes from back in the 70s and shit. Dave Cowens, I already said Rick Barry, right? There's a couple other guys. Damn, I can't think of the name. Havlicek, you know what I mean? But Chris Mullins got to be, I would say, at least the top 15 white boys all time. And I want to say 10, to be honest with you. Everybody ever heard of Big Shot Bob? Yeah, Robert Horry? Of course. Of course, man. Come on, Bill. Big Bob. Yeah, that dude got what? 6 rings, 7 rings? He got rings with the Lakers, the Spurs, and the Rockets. Got a lot of rings, man. You know what I mean? What else we got here? Bird and Magic was a bad man. Yeah, he was. Yep. Then that started from college. And they were on the Olympic team as well together. But you know what? They never talked. Big Russell, the man, Big Lou. Now, I got my GOAT of all time. My GOAT of all time is Kareem Jabbar. Keem the Dream. Yep, bad. That's a bad mother. Kareem Jabbar was Akeem Olajuwon was so light on his feet, bro. 7-footer. He was a soccer player. He's from Africa. I think he's from Nigeria, if I remember. But he's from Africa. I'm not sure what nation. I think it's Nigeria. He didn't even start playing basketball, I want to say, till he was like a sophomore, junior, or senior in high school. He was like a junior or senior in high school because of his height. But he was a badass soccer player, so he was light on his feet with his movements in soccer. You know what I mean? And then it just transitioned so well for him to the NBA. And then it even got to the point with that players like Kobe Bryant, guys like that, smaller guys, guards, small forwards, would come and work out with him to learn his finesse. You know what I mean? To learn his low post moves, his turnaround, you know, his fadeaway shots. You know, because remember Kobe Bryant had a what was it, MCL? I think he had 2. He tore, you know, so he had to change his game. He couldn't be, you know, that attacking the rim, all that was over with now. You know, now he had to be more finesse, turnaround jumpers, shooting from threes, you know, all that stuff. The Dream Shake, yep.
Will Chamberlain, the only man to score 100 points.
Yep. Yeah, he's so you got Kareem, you got Michael, you got LeBron, right? Those 3 guys are always in the conversations for the great. There was usually Jordan and LeBron. Usually, who's the GOAT? You always hear them 2. And then Kareem's there because Kareem's like in the top, the main offensive categories. He's in the top 5 on almost all of them. But then you got, after though you say those 3 guys, you got Chamberlain, you got Russell, you got Larry Bird, you got Magic, you got Kobe, you got Shaq, you got Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, you know what I mean? Keem Olajuwon. Those are the guys that are like in the talk. Oh, Oscar Robertson, Big O. Those are the guys in the talk for the top 10 players of all time. You know what I mean?
My generation, Mike.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because see, LeBron's bad. Don't get me wrong, right? But the thing is with LeBron is that he's never proven that he can just be that superstar by himself and win a championship. Like Mike was a superstar, right? Scottie Pippen was a star, right? Dennis Rodman was a star to a certain degree. One of the greatest rebounders ever, defensive genius, right? They had Horace Grant before they had Dennis Rodman, all-star, a star, you know, not a superstar. Michael was the only superstar. Then later you had Kobe Bryant on the Lakers. After Shaq left, Kobe was the superstar. But he had Bynum and he had Gasol, stars. You know what I mean? LeBron, he's got to go on teams where, you know, they got multiple superstars, you know?
What separates LeBron and Mike is one word: clutch.
Oh no, LeBron got some cut shots. He's got some.
Not like Mike. Not even close. I watched LeBron fail in the playoffs. Mike never lost his gas. Never lost that edge. I watched LeBron give up. I've seen it with my own eyes.
Oh yeah. If you throw that into it, yeah. But I'm talking about just shots and, you know, Michael. Remember Michael when he first went to Chicago, they sucked, you know. But LeBron when he went to Cleveland, you know, I think his second year they're in the finals already. But yeah. It's yeah. I don't think. And then also, Michael got 6 trips to the finals, 0 losses. He won all 6, and he's never even went to a game 7. You know what I mean? LeBron was in game 7s even with a super team a couple times, different teams. You know what I mean? It's just different, bro. And then plus two, the game back then, bro. The playing that era with Jordan and against the Celtics and against the Pistons
The
and New
bad
York,
boys.
the Knicks, it was tough, bro. You see how physical them dudes were?
Yeah,
I
that was
mean,
real. That was real. That was tough basketball back then. That's like the NFL. It's changed. It's gotten soft. You know.
yeah, yeah. And then too, I seen Al Harrington make a comment the other day. He said, you know what the difference between the LeBron LeBron era and Michael Jordan era? And they were like, what? He was talking to Chad Ochocinco and the other dude was Brandon Marshall. They got their own podcast, I guess.
Yeah.
And he said that Jordan back then he was enemies with Isaiah. He was enemies with the Knicks and players. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Nowadays these dudes are boys and they're going to the clubs and kicking it and doing everything together as the times has just changed, man. You know what I mean? Uh, yeah, man. It's just it's just a trip how these guys get catered to. Or that here he feels like he got fouled. He looks at the refs and might throw his hands up, and then all of a sudden, 30 seconds later, and they call a foul for LeBron.
Yanks, I'm 51. I'm the youngest guy here, man.
Yeah, that's what the pad 51 stands for. Remember, he used to go by Nelson Pad 50.
50.
Bigg Lou, Dr. J. Yep, yep. Dr. J was out of ABA. So was George Gervin. So was Artis Gilmore. I think Bob McAdoo came out of there too. The Buffalo. What was that Buffalo team? You remember, Nelson?
For what now?
Basketball, Buffalo, something.
I was in New York, man.
ABA. It was ABA. It was the ABA league.
Yeah.
McAdoo, I think it was, or yeah, McAdoo. Walter 49. Oh, they made us. They
When I
made
lived in
less
Buffalo,
calls
all I
back
heard
then.
about was the Buffalo Bills. That was it, bro.
Yeah, not really, Walter. We're not all about the same age because I'm only 29, player.
He's
You know what I mean?
29 at 5'3".
29, 5'3", 370. Solid muscle. I mean, don't play with me, cuz. I'm shit. I got about 3-4% body fat. That's it. How old is
Walter,
you? I'm 29.
Walter, me too. I'm a Leo. August 7th, baby.
Yeah, I'm a Leo too. What about
See,
you, Nelson? You're not a Leo, huh? Because
nah, bro. I was October 31st, my brother. I'm a Scorpio.
my brother's October 14th. Walter, you and Pounding are the same age. Yeah, and so is Carlos.
That's right. August 7th, 1972.
Datum was datum. Damn, big. What does that mean? Damn.
Damn, Big Ludacris.
Damn, Blue.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I'm 29 and I got a 22-year-old kid. Yeah, Leo in the house. Yeah, I'm a Leo too. I share a birthday. Never mind. We're kicking 59 in the butt. Damn, Sven, you's young. I would like to have one day Big Bob from New Zealand come on and Sven from Denmark and who else we have to be on here? Tom
Sly got us
Sheehy.
all, bro.
Huh?
Sly got us all. July 9th, 1964.
Yeah, that's a cancer. Yeah, but you're saying he's older than that. Yeah, but yeah, because my dad's is July 7th and my old lady's is July 3rd.
I'm older than you, Walter.
Where's Walter born at? Hello, X835. What part of Chicago are you from? Hello, X8. King of the Jungle. Yep, King of the Jungle's right. Leo. Leo el León.
Oh,
Rey
wait.
how you say jungle in Spanish? I don't even know. El Jungle or some shit?
Sly was 64. Sven is on 63.
My brother's born in 63, October. October 63.
Shit,
My other
Sly's in good shape for 64. I seen Sly. Shit.
my other brother's born June 8th of 67.
And so Sven is the vet here.
Yes, sir.
Fenn is the OG here.
I thought Mickey Griggs in his 60s, or is that Edward Everett?
Wait, hold on. Yeah. I got to check that back. I got to scroll back up. I got to see.
Oh, Yankees for life, 68. Or born in
That
68. No, he
he was
born in
born in
68.
'68.
Yeah, I know. Robinson could run like a fucking deer. Yeah, David Robinson was bad, bro. I remember when he came out of Navy, man, that fucking dude. When David Robinson came out, they had, keep in mind, there was Akeem Olajuwon, there was Patrick Ewing, right? And then David Robinson, and those are the three main centers. And then you had Kevin Duckworth out of Portland, and you had Brad Daugherty out of Cleveland. Brad Daugherty was a North Carolina Tar Heel with James Worthy, well, and with Michael Jordan and Sam Perkins. But you know what? James Worthy might have been gone when Daugherty came. But yeah, definitely those. The North Carolina had badass team for years. Let's see, my gram just passed in
What's
August,
up?
born in
Condolences,
27.
brother.
She was 90, what, 98? 90? No, no, no. What are we in? 2022. So 2021 she passed. So 94, 93, then maybe 94 if it was her birthday.
God
Yeah, my
bless.
grandma passed. My grandma passed. She was born in 26 and she passed in at 91 and 17. She was the last living sibling of her brothers and sisters. Died. Ya murió el apellido Hernández. Yeah. And my grandma outlived everybody, bro. Like all her brothers and sisters. Like I would remember going to funerals all the time, man. And everybody was like all her brothers and sisters. A lot of them were passing away in their 50s. You know what I mean? Early 60s. I remember one brother, Uncle Johnny, passed at 70. Uncle Frankie passed like 69. He was the brother right underneath them. And then she had one sister that lived till her late 70s, so maybe 78, Aralina. And then Rosie was the one that raised the boy as her son, but it was her brother. My Aunt Rosie, that was my grandma's sister. She lived to like 82, 84, and then my grandma, 91. Nobody lived like nowhere near that long, man. It was a trip. She would have lived another 10, but the boogeyman came calling. Yeah.
Yeah, my great grandmother lived to 98.
Oh, okay. North Side, Armitage, and Kenzie with all the Boricuas. So is that considered that? Oh, North Side? Well, that's why you're a Cubs fan. I had some folks that lived in the West Side, like what do you call that? Grant Park area. Yeah, Jerome Kersey, Duckworth, and then I mentioned earlier Brad Daugherty. They all passed away, and Cliff Robinson passed away, I think too. Yeah, Portland had Kersey, Duckworth, Cliff Robinson, Petrovich, Clyde Drexler. They had Porter. They had Buck
Pounding,
Williams.
have a good one, my brother. Thank you for coming by, bro.
Sonny Francis died at 103. Spent most of his Sonny Francis did about, yeah, he was given 50 years in that sentence, but he did like 9 originally. He got out in 79, and then he did about 4 or 5 violations on that same bid. So he pulled about a total about 30 years off that one, and then he got that last time when his son wore the wire on him. He got another 7, 8, 10 years out of that one. You know what I mean? But people don't talk about it. But Carmine Persico had just about as much time as Sonny did, if not more, because you figure he went down with the commission case in 85, 86 or so, and he passed away, what, 2, 3 years ago? So he had all that time straight, about 40 years, and then he did like 12 years when he became the boss, and he was doing time then too, and then violations. Actually, her and her
Sonny
two sisters.
Francis, the man of steel. They don't make them like Harley that no more.
Oh,
Big
hell no.
Lou,
Hell
Rasa
no.
Car Club having a car show, June 11, 2022, Saturday. Deal. Come on through, bro, with your ride. Yeah, I wish. I wish I could drive it all the way down there. And I don't believe in no trailer queens. So you guys know what a trailer queen is?
Nope.
So that's when you got guys that got nice lowrider cars, but they put them on the trailer. They drive, they got their truck and they pull the car on the trailer, and then they go to wherever they're gonna go,
Good night,
And then when
Walter.
they get there, then they take the car off and they'll drive to the park or wherever the event's going to be at. You know what I mean? And then another thing too, if you take off the old school motors, you know, with the carburetors, the old school motors, and you put a LS motor in it, LS 1, 2, or 3, or you probably got different ones besides those. You know, then you could drive that car anywhere. You know what I mean? You could drive it anywhere. God bless you. Sven's going to bed. Good night, Walter. Have a good one. Or Walter's going to bed.
Walter, yeah.
Oh, good night, Walter. Good night. That's what the
Walter,
white
good
boy.
night, my brother.
The white boys shut down always sticks in my head, man. I never forget how they do. Because, you know, a lot of times you hear guys, they'll be talking out of their cell and they'll be like, hey, brother. And then when they come out, they're like 5'3". You get that a lot, man. I'm like, you like that. Wait a minute. That's that dude Clown? Yeah. Or that's that dude Joker? Yep. Wow. You wouldn't even think that voice came out of that guy. You know what I mean? A lot of times they're probably just doing that to sound tough, you know, or whatever, however you want to put it. But, bro, that's a serious thing too at nighttime, man. When they say it's over with, the program shut down, and I'm talking about the convicts, not the cops. You know what I mean? You don't respect that because you figure you got all these different people that ain't your people that are expecting you to, you know, respect the shutdown. You know what I mean? So if you do that, go against that, it could be big problems. It's like the border from Humboldt Park and Logan Square. That was the main area where Puerto Ricans touched down in the 40s, 50s. Yeah, that's what a lot of people don't. From everything I read and everything I've learned about the Kings in Chicago, I read different literature where they said they started in 36, and I read other things that said they started in the 40s. And then King Tone, his version of the history is they started in the 60s. I know it's before that because it's just too much literature I've read for it not to be correct. You know what I mean? When you're reading it from multiple sources, different names, obviously different people, you know what I mean? I don't think they're gonna
There's a
be lying.
documentary. There's a documentary out there about that.
Yeah, you
Talk
know, because you
about when
figure,
it started, who
yeah,
started it, what it was started for, the whole
right,
9 yards.
yeah. Well, like most of the gangs, they usually are started to help their own people.
Yeah.
Usually, you know what I mean. But then it usually ends up turning into where you know, you're vandalizing their shops, or you might want to try to extort them. You know, too much of that shit. You know, who got the 50 years started doing his time in '64? Sonny Francis, or you? Sonny Francis got the 50 years in 1970. He finally finished the case in 70, but he caught the case I think in 67. But with all his appeals back then, I guess you could fight your appeals from the street. Now you got to fight your appeals from incarceration, I believe, while being incarcerated. Remember, he got 50 years started doing his time in '64. I don't know. I guess that got to be Francis he's talking about, I would imagine.
Yeah, he told our Francisi.
Yeah, no. Well, everything I've seen and read on him, and I've seen multiple shows regarding him. It said that he caught that case in '67, and then he finally was sentenced and exhausted all his appeals in '70. And then he went in 1970, and he came out in 1979. Because remember, back then you didn't have to do all the time, like, you know, it was the old law. You know what I mean? It's a whole lot. Like when Sammy was questioning Michael Francis, when Michael Francis said he got 10 years, and then Sammy was like, "Oh, you did only 3, 2, or whatever he said," and Michael was like, "No, I went and did 3.5, and then I went back and did another 32 months or whatever, 29 months. I forgot what he said." Well, just look, Gene Gotti, he got 50 years. Him and Johnny Koenig, they got 50 years. They did 29 and some change on it.
Yep.
Because it's the old law. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even Sonny was still Sonny walked it from the door to the end. Even at his old age, they couldn't trip him up.
Bro, that man, yo, I give it to him, bro. He went out like a trooper.
What about that lady when they did that New Day little, have you guys seen that? It was on YouTube. The New Day little documentary on Sonny Francis and the Francis family. And then one of the episodes is called "Why Did John Speak Out?" or "Why Did John Testify?" or something like that. One's called "Sonny Speaks Out," and then one was about the family, and then one was about Ernie the Hawk Polo, where they found his dead body, and they said that Sonny ordered that killing, And
Sonny was a bad man, bro.
yeah, he even then he played stupid. Like he talked. He just said, "Yeah, I went in the army. I started gambling." He goes, "I made a little bit of money. I came out, bought a couple business." And I heard him one time say that, yeah, he wanted to hurt somebody or get somebody, but they were with a friend of his. That's all he said. And then she asked him about, "Oh, is that like Omerta?" And he goes, "Huh?" She goes, "Yeah, Omerta." He goes, "I don't understand. What's that mean?" She goes, "Omerta, like the silence." So Sonny was born in Italy, so I'm pretty sure that his parents passed Italian language on to him. You know what I mean? I'm
Sonny
pretty
knew
sure.
what it was, bro. He was just
Yeah, of
playing it
course.
tough.
Oh yeah, he would have never admitted
That's what
that.
I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying. You know, at that point, at his age, at 101 years old at that time, or 102, like he still kept intact. You know that oath.
Yep.
Unlike his son. Unlike his other son. Man, that I can't get over that, bro. That because they try to say, well, what happened was he would, John would be recording, and then Sonny would happen to walk in and start talking, like butt in to whatever conversation, and then start talking, and that's how he got on the wire. You know what I mean? And then the FBI agent said that they told John at no time could he turn it off. So basically, he's just recording his dad while his dad's saying whatever. That was fucked up, man. I don't give even if even if it's the medication, the AIDS, because they said he had AIDS, so he was taking the meds. I mean, they said he had AIDS and he didn't have the money for the medication. By him doing this, Michael Francis believes that the government, helped him with the medication, getting the
Nah,
meds
bro.
and all that shit.
You know what it was at the official. That's what it was. He wanted that money to get high, bro. That's all it is. Because you know how that works, bro. You gonna sell out your parents for that shit.
He just did it. Fucking, you know
That's
what I mean?
exactly what he did.
And then he went on there and told
Puro
about his
sense.
mom. They kind of did the mom shady, man. Like,
Yeah.
your mom's passed, man. Why don't go on there? Fucking, like, you could have talked about her without talking about how her depression and how she went off and was
Yep.
hitting Michael with the ashtray over and over again till his eye was like this. And what that need to be said for? Like, you know, and you know that guy, that Gregory, that dude. I don't know if you watched those other ones where they would show that older dude. He's not older. The guy was pushing
Yeah, we'll agree with you.
Sonny around. And he said that he bailed him out one time. He was friends with the daughter, and that
Oh
he
yeah,
caught some. Huh?
he took care of Sonny for a few years, man.
Yeah, Greg. His name's Greg
Yeah.
Vita, right? Greg Vita. He reached out to me on the Facebook, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he never answered me after I accepted him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He answered me one time in a comment, and he goes, "Hey, you got is this you on the Facebook?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Okay, I requested you," and then I went because I don't even mess with the Facebook, so I
Yeah.
went to it, and sure enough, but he never got back to me, so I don't know. Hopefully he's okay. I don't know. Sin
Yeah,
City
there was a lot of
Vanquish.
stuff going on with
You know,
him.
brother. This is how boys chat used to be back in the. Yeah, this is how people chat without fucking bullshit drama and passion. People, man. Some people will die with their principles. Some won't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you
Yeah,
imagine if Sonny wasn't pinched all those years, got out under boss at? Well, I think the only way Sonny would have became boss is if he would have made that move before Carmine took over. Because once Carmine took over, you see what happened. I mean, even to this day, even though he's gone, Andy Mush Russo, that's his first cousin, and he's the boss. So it's still the family. They got a hold of it still. It ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean?
that's
It
a
ain't going nowhere.
steadfast family. They stick to that code.
Yep. And then that's the thing. All you got Carmine Persico. He had two older brothers. I think they're both older than him. Teddy Persico, Theodore, and Ali Boy, Big Ali Boy. And then Teddy has his son, Teddy Jr. And then Carmine has his son, Ali Boy, and he has a couple other sons. I'm not sure if Big Ali Boy has any kids. But then they had other nephews, and then you had the Russos, and they got all their sons, Jojo Russo, who he passed away already, and there's another son. And then I think Andy Russo, he has brothers as well, I believe. And then I read somewhere too that Vic Arena was Carmine's cousin too. I don't know. Did you ever read that?
Yeah, supposedly like second cousins.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's why he placed him there, because he figured he's still family. My family's, like this, he'll hold it down. I'll tell him that, when Alley Boy comes out, that, he'll take the reign and everything will be cool. But no, he tried to take it, from under it. They said, I think he said, it said that John Gotti had Vic Arena had John Gotti's blessings, because John was trying to, because like the Chin didn't like, from my understanding, the Chin didn't like him too well. Gas Pipe and the Musso didn't like him that well. So if he can get the Colombo family on board with him and him supporting Arena to take over, then he also had Messino, and it'd be like a 3-2 type deal. You know what I mean? Or even 2-2, and the fifth person as a swing vote or whatever.
John was smart. John was smart, and salute to the Gotti men, because they all took their medicine.
All of them. So I don't know if people don't know this, but we all know the father, John J. Gotti, aka Junior, right? Then he became Teflon Don, whatever nicknames they gave him later on. You got Peter Gotti, his brother, who died in there on a life sentence, kept his mouth shut. Gene was already doing the 50-year bid, right? He did 29, got out, 2-3 years ago?
Yep.
John Jr. did his time, got out, right? You got the other uncles, Vinny and Vincent and Richie Gotti. They do their time with their mouth shut. And when Richie got a son, Richie Jr., he does his time with his mouth shut. Then Peter, which is Angel's brother, his son John, he's in there right now. He kept his mouth shut. You know what I mean? But you got this piece of crap.
The question is this:
talking about him.
Just say Yankees put up rest in peace for De La Croce. So let's just say that he would have taken the position instead of Castellano.
Yeah.
Where do you think it would have gone?
Where would it have gone?
It would have been handed over to John.
He would have ran it the time he had left, and it would have went over to John. But what do you think would have been the difference?
The difference would have been it would have stood more conventional of street gangster. More of a stealing by force.
De La Croce was a nasty dude.
Yeah, because but Big Paul had the bigger vision of, trying to take it more legitly, right? Because he was a big time businessman. I don't know if he was a billionaire, but he was definitely a multi hundreds of million he was worth. You know what I mean? And he wanted to, I think, he used to read the what was that called? That book, that magazine, the stock market and all that. He used to read all them books, the magazines.
He was a racketeer. He was a racketeer.
But he had the vision for, to get legitimate businesses, put your money in legitimate businesses, and John Gotti, and I think Gotti and De La Croce and all their guys, Rosario, them guys were street guys, hijackers, push up on, what's that word?
They were gangsters, and Paul was a racketeer.
Yeah, but what's that word I'm thinking of when you extortionists, go and push up on people for their bread, and the old school, rackets, gambling and loan sharking and all the traditional ways, you know what I mean?
Like I said,
probably drug dealing they would have did more,
The difference.
Rest in peace, Frankie Loke, stand up man.
Definitely.
Bronx native.
The difference is that dude, if he would have been if Neil would have been the boss, I think it would have lasted a little bit longer. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, he had more of a street vibe than Paul did. Paul did his thing when he was younger and shit like that, but on that mentality of the streets, he would have done a little bit better.
Even when Paul was the boss, Neil was still running that family.
Oh yeah.
Because they said it was, they had 25 crews, somewhat 10 to 15 was up under Paul, 10 or 15 was up under De La Croce, and it was like Brooklyn was under Paul, Manhattan, Ozone Park, Queens was under De La Croce, you know what I mean? So it was kind of like two factions in one, But how ironic was that De La Croce was like, no, he's the boss. The boss is the boss. It's Cosa Nostra, and he wants those tapes, but he's trying to keep them off too, and then he passes away like literally 2 weeks before they killed him. He
Yep.
died on the 2nd of December, and they killed Paul on the 16th. So it was exactly 2 weeks away difference. So they had to. I mean, in that type of case right there, what are you supposed to do? Just like Albert and Anastasia, he said he killed Vincent Magano because they were going to get him, so he made the move first. Yep. I mean, I guess though, nothing happened. Well, nothing happened to Gotti, but something happened to De Chico. I mean, what are you supposed to do in that sense?
It's that lifestyle. It's always been treachery in it. It's always since the inception.
Yeah, they've always been killing bosses too. Even though, well, you figure you got to go from 31, right? You got to go from 31. Before, not counting Mazzaria and Maranzano and those guys, death. Go from the inception of the commission 31. They killed Vincent Magano. They tried to kill Bonanno was putting plans together with Malioco to bump off Lucchese and Gambino. They didn't actually do it, but you think if they were able to prove that, because the one dude admitted to it, they made him retire. You would think that they would have just got a death sentence, for that, And then they call Galante the boss, but I don't think Galante ever was the boss. You know what I'm saying? He tried to push up on it because he figured when I left, I was Joe Bonanno's underboss, so that's rightfully my throne. That's the kind of, I think.
Yeah, but they're saying that this guy, that he was a straight asshole. That's what they were saying.
Yeah, he was a greedy fuck too, and I think originally the commission wanted a cut out of everything, and they were gonna leave him alone. But then he was so greedy, so they said, "Man, fuck this dude, man. Let's get him out of here." Then
Galante was ruthless, and he had money,
a lot of money. So basically, what he did when he was away, doing that 20 years, he was putting together a master plan on how to get back in the swing of things, bigger than he was before he went in. You know what I mean? He still had those connections, and then he put more connections together while he was in the feds,
Hey, Gabriel's got a question, Carlos. You want to answer that one? Carlos still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
I answered that. I kind of answered that earlier already, but go ahead, because you were actually there.
Answer that one for Gabriel.
Yeah, he was actually there. So Carlos could tell you.
Yeah, Carlos will let you know what time it is.
They do their time, man.
But no, but he's saying, do they push the line? I said earlier that the Italians are model prisoners, that they just, they go in there and do their time. They ain't really tripping on, because there was a question about the Mexican mafia and Italians, and I go, it's way different. I go, because these guys were created in prison. It was a prison gang originally before it turned into organized crime, the Mexican mafia. You know what I mean? And the inside runs the outside. You know what I'm saying? I go, it's opposite with the Italians. They're, they don't cause no problems, and they're really, yeah, they'll get in fights here and there, and there might be a little melee, 10-man melee over something, but for the most part, they go in, do their time, get out, go to the halfway house, get out a little early. You know what I mean? It's a lot different.
They do their time, but they recruit their own kind, and they recruit others. That's why I was able to eat with them. And they also knew that if stuff hit the fan, I was going to hold them down.
Yeah.
That's the way they
use it. See, I didn't speak on none of that because I don't know that. You were there. You can speak firsthand.
I was the only Puerto Rican that ate with them every night.
And we're not going to say names, but well-known guys within those families.
Oh yeah.
That's another show.
Yeah. Yeah, well, most of them passed away now, anyways.
That's gonna be
most of them.
The Don Carlos show.
Yeah, when I do my show, I'll talk about the ones that I passed, some good ass men. One of them, I'll get into detail with him. He's the reason I changed my life.
Yep, Walter. Yep, think about that. So powerful, the inside control the outside. Yep.
You see, but what Carlos just hit, one of those guys changed his life. So at the end of the day, you still had guys out there that they were looking out. You know what I'm saying? For the younger guys.
Exactly. Absolutely.
See, you got to. Walter said to survive, you got to change with times. Did you just read that?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought I heard. Okay.
But it's a lot difficult now because surveillance is what brought them down. A lot of it had to do with the surveillance. Rico and surveillance. It's why they lay back now. It's why they don't commit, violent murders in the street. And they had to adjust. They had to. They had no choice.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even realize that you had that on the
Look
screen right
into
now.
it.
I was reading it from the chat. Hey, right here, he said, Stallone asked me, Lou, how'd you get interested in Costa Nostra, reading books in prison? Yep. My dad started sending me the books, and I just started reading them. And then I knew some in between time, reading and seeing other documentaries. And then Walter says, Massino was a good boss, pulled that family up only to do what he did. I don't know. I think with that, because Massino lost, right? He lost a trial, right? He didn't get sentenced yet, but he lost a trial, and he was potential death penalty, right?
He had that under his sleeve, my brother. He knew what he was doing.
Maybe, but you don't always know if they're gonna, make the deal with you. But by that point, because you've already wasted all these money from the taxpayers, you could be right, but I think what he was he was, and you know what, it does follow what you're saying, because he wanted to get his family, uh, you know, settled where he could go do his time if it came to that, or whatever time he had to go do, and they didn't just wipe them all the way out. You know what I'm saying? Because from my understanding, he was still able to keep like their house, their big house, and a lot of their assets and money and stuff. They only had to turn over like 10 million or something.
Personally, I think what happened with Massino was two things: his health and the fact that they were going to take away everything from his family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then look at that situation, bro. Here you're the boss, and you got all these dudes are top tier positions, right? Couple regimes are supposed to be top tier position, right? These are your management people, right? For your family. Like half of his captains rolled on him, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know he had like, I'm not sure. Yeah, because I want to say, his brother-in-law was the underboss at one time. Um, Shellac Head, I guess he was underboss at one time. I wasn't even aware of that till recently. And then you had Frank Lino. You had Coppola. What's his last name? Coppola, I think it is. He rolled. You had like 10 guys, high captains that told on him. 7 guys or whatever. That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's like I tell people, and this is what I was told from a wise man. He used to say, he said, the government is like a juicy blonde with big titties. He said, it's hard for them to say no when they shake those breasts in their face.
Wow.
Nah, Judge. All right, guys.
Hey, what's up, San Fran 415er? What's up, bro? Yeah, it's a trip,
I'm gonna
man.
start cutting it through because it's already 12:30. We've been on since 9:30.
What time you start tomorrow?
We pulled a long one.
We
Tomorrow,
had a great show, great chat.
Yeah, well, we might not be able to make it on Sunday, so I guess consider this a half an hour and a half tonight. And if it has to roll half hour,
who knows? Maybe we'll jump on and see how your guys' schedule is, because you don't mind, it changes every freaking 15 minutes.
But you're the quarterback. We're working around you, Mike.
So we got to we may come back on maybe tomorrow, maybe the following day. Let's see what's up. You know what I'm saying? And we go from there. So with that being said,
anybody in the chat, hit the like button.
Definitely.
If you haven't already, and
so Lou, bang up job, my brother.
Thank you everybody for coming out and supporting the No Fly Zone.
Definitely. And of course, from what you see, we talk a little about everything in this chat. We don't lock ourselves down with one subject, which that's something that we all three of us are on the same wavelength. We respect everybody's opinion. Hopefully everybody respects ours. We could have a decent conversation like we've had here. Beautiful. So with that being said, anybody else want to say anything about this chat, brothers?
Everybody have a good night. Be safe. And thank you for showing up.
Lou, roll call?
Yep. Okay, so yeah, like my two brothers said, good night to everybody. Thanks for coming in, tapping in, hitting the like, and subbing if you didn't already. Please do. Share it. We're trying to grow the channel, getting it out there for everybody. We got a lot of things in store. We just don't know when about it's going to be that everything falls in place. But hopefully, when we get the platform a little bit bigger, we'll be able to bring some more people on. You know what I mean? But don't get me wrong. I'm going to be working on it in the meantime. So with that being said, good night, Walter. Good night, Rich DM 650, Gabriel Martinez, Sly Stallone, Slick the Wicked, Yankees for life. San Fran 4 and Fiber, Cultura Cafe, Stiffy Lubricante. What else we got here? I already said Yankees for life, right? Yeah. Okay. Sin City Vanquish. Boop, boop, boop. Sven Larson, Mickey Griggs, Pelone X8. Everybody, good night. That's all I got on the slide. I can slide back up. But Everett was here, Carol was here, Miss Can't Be Wrong was here. Indus.
Gabriel, thank you for coming in, bro.
Who else am I missing, guys? That's the only ones I can think of right now. Everybody, thanks for coming. I don't know if did I see Anthony Elios? Not sure. Anyways, yeah, thanks for coming again. Good night, everybody. We might see you guys on the next day or two. If not, maybe Sunday.
Sure.
But we got a little change.
That's for sure.
Yeah, a little change in the week, work week. So things got switched up. That's why we came on today instead of tomorrow. But
Lou, by the way, before we cut everybody down, if you go on the No Fly Zone channel, you can also watch our playlist, which Lou has some stuff on there. So if you can go by, check it out. You know what I mean? Those are little things we're gonna be getting into also.
Oh yeah, there's a couple. Yeah, go in the playlist, and you also can see our star quarterback in his oh
yeah, my bald head.
Yeah, in the Walking Dead, a little what do you call that? Little skit, or not skit, but a little portion of a little clip. There you go, little clip of the show and the church. And Nelson's the first one. You see him sitting there.
I'm a church guy.
So, yeah. So it's season 11, episode 13, I believe it is, right?
Bro, I don't even know.
Yeah, I think it's episode. Yeah, it's definitely season 11, and I'm pretty sure it's episode 13.
But we'll be putting a lot of stuff on there, you know what I mean? So if you guys can, just check it out, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, and also if you guys do go to the playlist, yeah, I got 2 videos there. One's about MMA guys that are MMA fighters now going into the boxing ring, and what's your guys' take on them making all the money, and also the Paul brothers stepping into the ring, and then another video on the steroids deal. I'm speaking mostly about Barry Bonds and a little bit about Clemens, because those are the main hitter and the pitcher of that era. But if you guys got any ideas, or you want us to touch on anybody in particular or any type of idea, just go ahead and comment and leave it in the chat or whatever comment section. And when I do my best to answer all the comments too. Definitely. I think we all do. So,
hit that like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and drop a comment. And everybody have a great night.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Likewise, brothers.
All right, Carlos. I'll talk to you guys, my brother.
Si hablamos mañana.
Bigg Lou. Good night, my brother.
Yes, sir. Igualmente. Vaya.
Good night, guys.